Hey, Sam fans! I wanted to start this episode by shouting out our two certified Sam stands from Patreon, Killabee and Temple Woods. Thanks for subscribing, you guys. And if any of you other listeners would like to support us on Patreon, we have 5 subscription tiers to choose from with tons of awesome extras for you, including early access to weekly episodes, live blogging with other Sam fans and the hosts, 2 extra Patreon podcast episodes per month, and much, much more. Check it out and enjoy this episode of A Sam Girl Retrospective. Yeah. Woo! So this is episode 6 of season 2, I think. Yes. And we're covering Hunted and Playthings. And only Elle is here with me today. We're gonna have like an old school season 1 kind of vibe today. These are 2
Fantastic.
heavy hitters, like
Oh my God, yes.
so important, like not only to this season that we're in, but kind of like for the rest of the series. Like these are very important moments.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God. Also, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Elle spent New Year's in at Disney World. I know that we're releasing this in the spring of 2025, but back in recording era, we are 2 days into January.
It is January 2nd, and I am fresh off a long 4-day trip to Disney World on an injured ankle with a 5-year-old.
Did the happiest place on earth help at all with those things?
It did. I think it
Good.
really did. I really think it did.
Good.
I haven't been to Disney since I was a teenager. Um, Things have changed a lot, but it was great. It was great. I'm not like a Disney adult, a
Yeah,
Disney
me
adult.
neither.
But there's just something
Magical.
about, yes, there's just something. They
They
know
can't
how
be
to do
denied.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have made science out of everything that they want their visitors to get out of a visit.
Mm-hmm. That's why it can't be denied. Like no shade to
Hmm.
Disney adults. Like I get it.
I get it.
It's not my thing, but like I totally understand why it is for some other people.
Yeah, and
I'm glad that
definitely.
I'm glad that Q got to experience it as a child. I never got to go as a kid ever. I went the
No, me
first time
neither.
ever was like I was 22 when I went for the first time, and that was the only time I've ever been. I've never been back.
Yeah.
So that's really special for
I
him.
was like 17 myself, so like
Yeah, you were
not
almost an
not
adult.
an adult, not, yeah, like not an adult, but definitely not a kid.
Right.
But my kid got to he mentioned a book at this meet and greet with Cinderella, and across the room, Belle was like, "Did I hear book?" And she engaged him in a conversation for like 20 minutes.
Oh,
And he was just talking about his favorite books. He told her about the series of comic books that he's drawing right now.
oh
And
my
she
God.
said she can't wait to read it. And all like she was so patient because my kid can take a while to get his ideas out. And she was just so in the moment with him. It
Yeah,
was amazing.
the
And it
cast
took,
members are so talented there. They're
yes,
so
yes,
talented.
they're so good at what they do, which is making a kid feel like they are the most special person in the room at any given
Hmm.
time. It
They're
was,
genuinely engaged and they're acting, they're fully in character. I had
yes.
like I'll call her an acquaintance. I know her through my aunt, my cousin. And she was a cast member for a long time. And so she was a few different Disney princesses. And she was so, I mean, if you saw her on the street, you'd say, that's a princess. But she was so good at that. Like you have to be really personable and charismatic, but then like you have to also like be a good actress. And
Yes.
that's why it's like a big deal to get on to be a cast member at Disney because it's genuinely they need the best.
You have to be committed. You can't
Hmm.
be like, yeah, ooh, I'm Belle. Look at me. I have a talking candlestick. You have to be like, oh, and my friend Lumiere loves blah, 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 blah. Like she was in it. She was
Yeah,
like,
he
referencing
was
other
Belle.
parts of the universe, whether he knew the parts or not. Like she wasn't taking his cues for what parts of the universe to mention, but she was taking his cues on where the conversation should go. So
Hmm.
it felt very natural, like if Belle was a real person. So it was very cool. I think he's gonna remember it for a long time.
I'm so excited. That's so
Yeah.
cute. I'm so happy for y'all.
Anyway, next up on the Disney
I
podcast.
know we're talking about Disney. We're done with that now. Sorry.
Sorry,
I haven't
sorry.
gotten to talk to Elle since before New Year's, so I'm like, well, how was that trip? She did cool stuff. I went down the street from my house for New Year's, so I was like, I really want to hear about Disney. Okay,
But
so
down the street was cool too, right?
it was really cool. Yeah, there was a block party downtown Dallas that I went to. We are not we were not the audience for this DJ. She was like I guess like the music you might hear like at Kohl's with your mom, like it was that kind of thing. Because it was a free block party
Holes with your
and there
mom.
were kids everywhere and then like just families everywhere. And me and my friend Bettis and Stacy, we were like, when are they gonna play like something we want to hear? Like, because we're used to going to like the neighborhood. We're like, we like to go to Cedar Springs and like hear Chapel Roan and stuff. And finally we kept being like, "Ah," and they finally played Cuff It, and we were like, yes. And then we were able to just leave.
Then you could leave.
Because then they played like Blurred Lines. We were out. We were like, Blurred
Ew.
Lines. First of all, everyone on the internet at that time when it came out was aware of what messed up lyrics those were. And then like second of all, like Robin Thicke, what are we doing? Like why it's
Like what
2025?
year is it?
And we're playing
Like
like bangers from 2013. So we were like, anyways, bye. And we just left. So my New Year's,
uh,
I came home and me and Corey started Live Free or Die Hard and then went to because I had
fantastic.
never seen that before.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
should we talk about Supernatural?
Yeah, speaking of things from a bygone era,
But that hold up way better than
way better, way
Blurred
better.
Lines.
Blurred lines. Oh my God.
All right, so Hunted is episode 10 of season 2. And like as everyone knows, the end of the last episode was like a huge cliffhanger because you start off with um like Sam and Dean are I guess there's a cold open, right? For Hunted, but I honestly like forgot it because
There
I was
is.
like
There is.
it's like Go Ask Alice is playing, which is great.
I
It's a
love that
banger.
song. I
Um,
love Go Ask Alice so
and my
much.
question was like, why does the yellow-eyed demon visit every other child except for Sam? Like apparently he was like visiting a child, or he's having
Yeah, he's
visions of
like
the yellow-eyed demons or something.
visiting them in their sleep or something like that.
Yeah.
This kid, though, says specifically that he's telling him to do things.
Yes, it's like he's driving this poor child crazy as if he's hearing voices and he's like
Yeah.
he's visualizing the yellow eyes. So we cut from the cold open to the boys like on the backdrop of that very pleasant scenery because we only get that pretty scenery if something bad is about to happen. And Dean
So true.
reveals that John's last words to him where you need to protect Sam, and then if you can't save him, then you need to kill him. And Sam, of course, receives this and is very upset. And so eventually they go to a hotel, but like Sam dips in the middle of the night and decides to try to go find answers. And at one point, you see Sam like walking through this abandoned house, and there's like you can tell he's looking for something, and then he trips a wire and he explodes. And there's like blood spatter on the lens of the camera. Like it's very upsetting. Like you're like, whoa, well, Sam can't die, but like that's blood spattered on the camera lens. And they show his little shoe with smoke coming out of it. And you're like, did his foot come off? Like what happened? And then a girl wakes up at night and she has had a vision of Sam dying, much like Sam's visions of everyone else that they've tried to go save. So that reveal was really cool, and we get to realize there's other people, obviously special children with special abilities, but there's someone who has the exact ability that Sam has. So while Sam is trying to find answers, Dean panics, tries to find Dean. Sam and this girl Ava end up linking up because Ava's trying to prevent him from exploding. And then Gordon enters the story. Such a good episode.
So
Um,
good.
which also surprised me. I don't know why I forgot. Again, I have amnesia, but like I forgot that Gordon was a part of this episode, but that's why it's called Hunted because he's hunting Sam. So, right as Gordon almost takes a shot at Sam, Dean arrives and thwarts this, but then he gets kidnapped. And then Sam goes to save Dean. Ava's like, that's where you die. Please don't go. And he's like, it's fine. I'll call you later. It'll be fine. So he goes, he saves Dean after tripping both of the tripwires. So Gordon set it up to where there's two, and Sam explodes both of them somehow. And it's very upsetting because Dean thinks that Sam has died. Like it's very upsetting to see because he's tied up and he's gagged and he's like trying to scream and he can't. But then when Gordon goes through the next room to find Sam, you see Sam's little boot like smoking like in the vision, and you're like, oh no! And then like Sam is there, he's just like tricking Gordon. And they have a little fight. He knocks Gordon out, and then the boys are able to leave. And Sam has been very brilliant and like called in an anonymous tip about Gordon before he even confronted him. So the police come and take him. Sam doesn't have to kill anybody. And they go try to check in on Ava, and they find her fiance absolutely murdered, like absolutely massacred. And I think that's everything important in the
Yes,
summary of this
I think
episode.
so. Yeah.
So,
Can I just say though first that I love that you
yes,
keep calling it his little shoe when he's
well,
got
it's
his
giant. You're right.
his huge tiny shoe.
I know his giant boot. And I gotta say, they're like my least favorite shape of like a male like
I
boot.
don't like those shoes.
They're ugly. They're ugly, ugly. They
I
remind
hate
me.
those shoes.
Okay, and I'm not trying to be that kind of supernatural fan, but they do remind me of like moose legs. Like I don't
Oh no.
they remind me of mo little moose knees. You know how moose have those like knobby little knees? For
Yeah,
some reason, those boots make me think of a moose. And I really hate that nickname for Sam, so I am not trying to be cute. But that is genuinely like an association I have to those boots. I don't know why.
that's funny.
Anyways, we have so much to talk about. Elle, how long were your notes?
Woo!
Because I have two full typed out pages
Okay, I have
about this episode.
5 pages, but
That is so
one
impressive.
one full page is just two screenshots of heavy breathing. So
You heavy breathing or Sam heavy breathing?
Sam heavy breathing.
Because
Screenshots of Sam heavy
that's
breathing.
fair. Well,
That's
because
one entire page. It's just screenshots.
we're also just watching it like, Sam is cool. Like heavy breathing. Like it's
It's
a
the
good
Sam
one.
girl. It's the Sam fan that's
It's
what we're here for.
a good episode for Sam, I think.
Yeah, it is. It
As
is.
like so freaking good. So let's start with the open. Like I'm skipping the cold open. We don't care about that guy. Like I don't even think we ever even meet that guy, do we?
Well, so all I think the important bits of this guy is that no, we don't meet him because he dies and he
Yes.
is what brings the brothers to this town. The
Right.
thing that is interesting about this guy is that he he is sort of I take him as a sign of what could happen to Sam in the future. Like
Yeah.
seems like he's a lot farther along the path of this special child's thing. He is
Interesting.
hearing the yellow-eyed demon. I also think, he's having, I don't know if he has full-on like pre-existing mental illness,
Hmm.
but he's got a mural of
Yeah.
yellow eyes in the back of his closet. Just
Yes.
eyes colored in yellow
Haunting
from
him.
magazines,
Hmm.
whatever, haunting him. He's been tormented by nightmares where the yellow-eyed demon is telling him to do things so far as to go to a shrink where if you walk into a psychiatrist's office and say, someone's telling me to do things, I have already killed a small animal
Yeah.
and I have weird powers and I'm being told I'm special. All of that stuff
Yeah.
is like you're gonna get put away. But he's so desperate for something to help him that he's risking that. You know you're going to be looked at as
A freak.
as as a psychiatric
Hmm.
mess. You're going to get involuntarily confined. Like
Yeah. They're looking at it as he will become a threat, so he must be confined somewhere.
yes. And so, but he's in such a hopeless situation. He's
Hmm.
probably doubting his own sanity, but as far as he knows, these things are really happening to him.
Right.
So
And they are
he's
happening to him.
yeah.
It
Well,
just makes
and
him sound crazy. Poor thing.
it makes him sound crazy. It probably makes him doubt his own sanity because
Mhm.
unlike Sam, that was what I was trying to figure out is like he's in full on hearing this demon and doing things because the demon's telling him to
Mhm.
and not knowing if he's sane or not. Whereas Sam, who knows that supernatural things exist, he doesn't
Yeah.
have to grapple with that sort of cognitive dissonance. And
Yeah.
so he is able to, whether because he is mentally um I don't want to say stronger, but less prone to like
Yes.
mental illness
Mhm.
or just because he knows the supernatural exists so he doesn't have to, it's not a thing that he grapples with. He doesn't succumb to this. And I'm trying to think if there are other if the other kids that we have seen so far, if any of them have shown this kind of mental distress.
Mhm.
Because High as a Kite guy didn't. I
Mm-mm.
don't think. Not until the end when it was obvious that he had distress because his twin was doing murder.
Right.
Um,
I
but
think the abused child, he did feel distressed, but but not because of his power. Like he
right,
finally felt
that was abuse. Yeah.
like he felt like empowered finally with his power.
Yeah.
So he didn't really question it. I think Ava is just she is disturbed by it, but she gives in, like she follows it. She knows that
Yep.
everyone thinks she's crazy. She feels like everyone's going to call her crazy. You can tell by the way she interacts with Sam in this episode, but I don't think
But
she's
she's
disturbed
trying,
by, yeah, the
right.
powers itself.
She doesn't like the nightmares, but she is trying to go and live a normal life. She's a
Mhm.
secretary from Peoria, blah blah blah. And well,
She's
like
engaged.
she's engaged. She's got a normal life planned
She's
out.
behind
And
on her wedding invitations, which is like such a cute little detail they threw in.
I just say that I love Ava like straight
I
out of the
do
gate.
too. Love her.
But yeah, I think that's the only important thing that this kid made me think about was the different ways in which these special kids react and respond to the yellow-eyed demon. And it makes me wonder if maybe this kid was targeted by the yellow-eyed demon first because he seemed maybe not first, but like early because maybe he was weaker and he's
Well,
trying to weed out
yeah.
the weak candidates
Well, you
or
know how
whatever.
they sent Sam to um the Croatoan like area and like they was it Crater Lake, I guess, and they tested him.
That's true.
I wonder if this was a different way to test. They were like, okay, let's try and test Sam in this way. We'll test this other kid in this way, just to see like who passes the test, who succumbs to the test. I
Right,
could see it
because
being that way. Yeah.
right, because
Mhm.
Andy's twin,
Mhm.
Ansem, he was contacted by the demon,
And
right?
some Weems. Yes.
He is another I forgot I didn't even
Hmm.
include him as one of the special kids, but he also is one.
Because Ava doesn't fit the pattern, but she also is one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so it's yeah, different tests for how they
Hmm.
respond to having weird shit happen to them. Are
Yeah.
they are they totally freaked out or do they embrace it? In
And can
Ansem
they
Weems,
withstand it or can they not? And like,
yeah.
yeah, it's interesting that
So
Sam's was like
interesting.
a biological test, but I think it's because they know he knows enough that they can't test him in the same way they test the
Yeah.
other kids.
He doesn't really have a control. Like he's
Mm-mm.
already knows about the supernatural. So
Yeah,
he's going
he's
to be like,
on to them too much. Yeah.
yeah, he's going to be like, "Oh, cool,
And he's
psychic.
just so smart. Like,
Well,
there's so
we have
much in this
psychic
episode
friends.
that He's like a
Yeah.
brilliant, brilliant boy in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I
All
love
right, so
it.
let's talk
Okay.
about that horrible beginning with Dean
Oh,
and revealing like he said, I have to save you or kill you. Like horrific. And then you're watching Sam because Dean doesn't just say it. Like he's spitting it out slowly and they zoom in on Sam's face and Jared does a great job in this moment of being like with his facial expressions like spit it out, man, I'm going to die. Like and we've all been in a situation where we're about to receive really bad news and we're just like spit it out and it's just it made me squirm. Like it was a
yeah.
very well performed moment. And so we get an angry wingspan, of course.
Love
And
the angry wingspan.
he's just like, how could you not tell me? And Dean's like, Dad made me not he told me not to. He made me not do it. And I just love Sam screaming, take some responsibility for yourself.
Yeah.
Because we never get Sam being like kind of
He never does that in
he
later
never just says like
seasons.
get over yourself. This is not right. Like take responsibility. You can't just lean on the fact that dad told you. Also, dad is dead. Like what's going to
Hmm.
happen? I'm your closest relative now and you're still siding with a dead man.
Yeah. Take some responsibility for yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah, he doesn't say that very often. The
Or ever.
further on we get, the less
Yeah.
likely he is to say something like that to Dean.
Right. And then of course Dean's like Sam's like, "Well, what else did he say?" And Dean's like, "Well, that's all, I swear." And I'm like he could even fucking believe you at this point because you've been
Right,
keeping
why would he
from
believe
him.
you?
Mm-hmm.
And Dean suggests laying low. Like let's just
Right.
let this blow over? Because Dean, I don't think that's really in the cards,
No.
but
Well, and before he says that, you think this has been easy on me? I wish to God he never opened his mouth. And I'm like, yeah, because it's so hard on you that your dad doesn't want you dead. Like it is hard on Dean, and I'm not going to try to take that away from him, but it's worse for Sam, and he's still just like, okay, but it was really hard on me. Like,
it
okay,
was
well,
rough, okay?
you should let Sam have his feelings about this, and you should absolutely take any berating he gives you because at the end of the day, this is something John said about Sam, and
Yeah.
you chose to keep from Sam.
Yeah.
And whether or not that was hard on you or not, I mean, you chose to not tell Sam. So you don't
I
get to be like, this has been bouncing around in my head this whole time. Oh, boo hoo.
yeah. So I do in this scene, I do eventually get a little bit of sympathy for Dean, like toward the end, because yeah, I know it was hard on him. It's worse for Sam,
Mm-hmm.
who is just now, he hasn't had however long it's been to come to terms with this idea or to even begin to understand what this means.
Right.
So of course he's angry immediately. Um,
It's a betrayal for your
it's
father to
such a
tell your brother
betrayal.
to kill you and then your brother to keep that from you.
Yeah.
Like you've been traveling around the nation with this guy for months and
Yeah.
this has been true this whole time.
And Sam is like, "What, you have to watch me because I might turn evil and
Mhm.
you might wow, you better if you what does he say? If you don't watch out, you are going to have to kill me someday,
He
Dean."
says,
Like,
yeah, if you're not careful, you will have to waste me one day.
yeah. And Dean is like, "I never said that." But we all know what he was going to say. And this is going to
Yeah.
be a refrain that happens more and more through the seasons.
Well, because they've already been having this conversation, haven't they? Like,
Hmm.
it hasn't been explicitly about Sam, but Sam has been fighting on the side of you can't always choose how you are because of things outside of your control, but you can control what you do. And Dean has been on the side of, well, it doesn't matter what you do because what you are is what I hunt. And so
Hmm.
I mean, they've been setting this up. It's so satisfying. We keep saying that about season two, but it's very satisfying because they've been telling the story in these subtle ways, in these like metaphorical like scenarios. Well, now we've hit the moment where now we have to have this exact conversation
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
out. And they're explicitly discussing this is me. I'm your brother Sam, and now you have to actually face your worldview in
Mhm.
terms of what dad has said. And I do feel like a little bit, it's been interesting considering what we've been discussing as Dean's worldview, with him knowing this in the back of his head is part of the future, and Sam not knowing. that that is
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then
Like, because Dean even says, like, I don't know, man, you're immune to some weirdo demon virus. Like,
mhm.
there's a lot going on. And so, like, he's almost like arguing the side of, maybe dad has a point or whatever, not on purpose, but he is admitting, like, well, it has been kind of weird. So it has been scary to me to watch this knowing what dad has said, like
Yeah.
as a way to like argue that it's hard on him. And if you think in terms of what that actually literally means, he's saying it's hard on me because it actually seems like it could be true to Sam, who
Who's
this is
Sam?
about. And it's
Who's
like,
like, "Oh, so you think I could be evil because of all the things
oof.
you've known about this whole time that I had no idea about." Cool, got it, got it. Um,
Yeah.
and even before Dean gets told this horrible thing by
Hmm.
his dad, they were
Hmm.
already talking about how weird and freaky Sam's powers were. Like Sam has a vision and it's already sort of in the background.
Hmm.
Is Sam a normal human or not?
Hmm. Hmm.
Or is this kind of something supernatural that usually we would hunt?
Right.
Which I always thought was weird considering they have psychic friends, but I mean nobody's gonna hunt
Missouri
Missouri
Mosley.
Mosley down.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
but that aside, like so then to have this like in Dean's head for the entire season up till now,
Yeah.
like what episode are we on? 10? 10
10.
episodes of weird stuff happening around Sam and Dean feeling some sort of way about it and Sam not having even the opportunity to figure out what it might mean because he doesn't know. That being said, Dean does say, you're angry with me, and I get that.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, but please just give me some time to think. Can we just lay low while we think this through? He's doing the Dean begging thing.
He pleads with him. He
He
even says, I'm
please,
begging you.
I'm begging you. He just needs some time. And I don't even think that it's he needs some time to think through like how he feels about it or to get good with anything. I think he is trying to figure out a way to get some like those moments where you just are like too much of everything is happening. And I
Everything is
need
so much.
everything is so much all the time. And
Yes.
I just need the world to stop for
Hmm.
like 5 minutes so I can get two brain cells to rub together.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
You got to get your
that's
bearings.
yeah, that's where I feel like Dean is like, let's lay low, let's pause everything until we can figure out what is happening here.
Well, I
Like
also think,
to keep
too,
Sam safe and to process his own stuff. Like I think it's both, and I feel bad for him. I put myself in that position, and I think there's a lot of things I would do to keep my own brother safe if I thought he was about to run open armed into a disaster, you
well,
know?
I feel like Sam, I just feel like I don't feel bad for Dean in this scenario because he kind of made his own bed and not being open with Sam from the beginning. They could have
Yeah.
had all of this time to work together before it's gotten to a point where it's actually getting more and more chaotic the further in they go. And I do feel like a lot of it too has to do with I've told him the truth. Now I have to allow him to react however he wants. And I feel like he's begging for them to lay low to get him to agree to be in a controlled environment where he is not reacting by with action to what Dean said. Like Sam wants to immediately go, okay, let's go figure this out. And Dean's like, no, I want to hide you away and to protect you because again, we're going to get into the Gordon of it all where he knows Sam's going to be a target. And I think if Sam had known that earlier, I know you agree with me on this, but like if Sam had known that earlier, they could have moved through this a lot more carefully with
Hmm.
Sam being in the know. And I feel like Sam feels so far removed from this knowledge now. He feels like he has to like make up for lost time.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
so he's like, okay, let's go. And Dean has to put him in a situation where it's like, please, please, I'm begging you, let's just lay low so that he feels like he's in control of what's going to happen from there, which is why Sam agrees so that he can steal a car in the middle of the night and leave because he knows that Dean's not going to let like he's not going to partner with him to do what Sam wants to do.
right.
If you know what I mean? Like Sam wants to do this and Dean doesn't, then they don't do it. If Sam wants to do this but Dean wants to compromise, they'll do it. And so Sam knows I have to sneak away in the middle of the night to actually do what I feel I need to do to react to this situation and Dean is not going to be cool with that. So I understand what you're saying, but I also feel like there's an element of control that Dean needs to reclaim. And that's
Yes,
why he puts those Dean like sparkly eyes on, like, please, I'm begging you.
the
And it
princess eyes.
and Dean and Sam relents in the moment. And
Yeah,
because he loves Dean and he understands that a big blow up in this beautiful like forest the backdrop of a river or whatever behind him is probably not the best place to start. So he does let Dean think, okay, cool, we're gonna chill. And then Sam can get his bearings and then dip and do what he needs to do to process this. And I do
yeah,
think Sam tends to react by wanting to take action. And I mean, and Dean does too. He's very reactionary. But I think because Sam knows that it's not gonna happen if Dean's not on board, then he just was like,
he
all
just
right,
gives in. I think he already has the plan to leave as soon
100%.
as he's
He's
like,
like,
all right,
I'll just do it a different way.
yeah, all right. That's that. Okay, cool. So your plan is I lie to you. Got it. Good plan.
Mhm,
Gonna do that. Like, and that I think also just speaks to how their kind of brothership
mhm.
of I find it hard to believe that Dean didn't think to himself, well, he agreed with that a little bit too quickly. But
I think he was probably just so relieved because he
wishful
was just like,
thinking,
I got
yeah.
to get him into this position where I feel a little bit more in control of the scenario again. I'll drive us to this place and we'll just chill and we'll figure it out tomorrow. And Sam knew that that's probably where Dean's head was going. And he was like, tomorrow will not be coming because I'm out of here.
Ooh,
Just gone.
I'm gone. Tomorrow's not coming.
Mm-mm.
Ooh. So,
It's just so satisfying to watch the myth arc move forward in these middle episodes. And I think it also speaks to how starved we are for that kind of consistency like later in the series.
yes, yes. That we will just take half an hour and talk about the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. And we'll just take any little breadcrumb they'll give us in the later episodes because we're like, oh my
Yep.
God, they referenced a thing one time. Fucking
Oh
finally.
gosh.
So the vision that Ava has is Sam exploding from a grenade.
So it start now, does her vision, do we think, start where he sneaks around in the motel parking lot and Jimmy's the car door?
Yeah, I think that's what's so fun about it is like it cuts from what he's actually doing to a scene that then she's dreaming. And we don't know the difference because we've never seen that there are any other special children who have the exact ability that Sam has. So we're not even expecting that reveal, which is it's so perfect
Yes, it's so
as a
good.
moment. But yeah, I think because Sam's visions are always like them in that one setting leading up to their death. So I believe what he did with the jimmying the lock and stealing the car was for us, like that happened. And then as soon as he's in the abandoned house sneaking around, that is the dream.
Yeah. I think that that is true, but I think it's so funny because then when we do find out that it was a vision and we go back to Sam and he's talking to Ellen, she's
Hmm.
like, how's Dean or something like that.
Hmm.
Or something happens and we understand that they're separated.
He
And then
said,
we're like,
she said,
oh,
I think like she said that Dean had called looking for him.
Oh, that's right.
And
That's
so
right.
she knows that they're not together. And she does this really sweet thing where she's like, "Well, what's going on with you guys?" And Sam just kind of moves on, and she doesn't push him about it. And she's just
No.
like, "Well, all right." And they just kind of move
Mhm.
on.
I love that.
I have a lot to say about Ellen in the Roadhouse for sure.
Me too. Me too.
Cool.
Well, so let me rewind then just a little bit to the vision. So,
Oh, okay.
as a first-time viewer, it's really easy to believe that that is just Sam coming off being pissed at Dean, saying, "F you, I'm going on a case." We don't get if this was real, we would have
Hmm.
gotten how he got the house address. We would have gotten what the case even is. Um, but because the show does such a good job of amping him up that we don't even really acknowledge that the storytelling is missing some steps. Um, and we're just like, yeah, this is happening. And then when he gets blown to bits, it's like an actual shock because
Yeah.
we haven't even accounted all of the steps that would typically be there that we're just missing because
Yeah.
of the pacing of the story is so good. And then of course there's gore on the camera, so we really believe it.
Yeah, they literally throw blood at the camera. It's
Yes,
awful.
viscera. I think it's viscera.
The image of
Blech.
Sam's shoe with smoke coming out of it is so insane to me, where it's like, yeah, his foot is exploded. Here's like steam coming off of his exploded foot. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
Truly.
And then
But
surprise, it's not even Sam's vision.
yeah, and well, thank God it's not Sam. And then thank God someone was able to be like, by the way, you're going to explode. So he could try to avoid that.
Yes.
But I love that like he steals this car and then where does he go? He goes to the roadhouse, which is what all I want them to do. And that
Mhm.
has been something that Sam has suggested many times on the road and Dean has like pushed back against. He's like such a dick about the roadhouse. And in this specific episode, like he at the end we'll talk about it, but like he's a dick again. And then, and like, I just love that Sam's like, no, I really want to embrace this as a resource. And
Yeah.
so he goes to the roadhouse and it's very sweet to me. Like, I feel like Ellen and Sam really understand each other in a way that like we don't often get to see characters try to like connect with him. And so Ellen doesn't want to pry too much. And despite the fact that they have like a kind of a complicated relationship right now, because the last time that they were together, we have Ellen furious at the boys
Hmm.
because Joe snuck away to hunt, and then Dean lied. Girl, I'm not talking to you. Did you hear Siri?
Yes, I did.
Girl, shut up. I'm gonna throw my watch away from me.
Get out.
Get away from me. Anyways, I guess she was listening to the podcast. She wanted me to turn the volume up. Uh, so like, anyways, her and Joe are at odds. She packed up and moved out so she could hunt more. And Sam was like, I am so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry for everything. And I know you probably don't want to talk to me. And Ellen's like, look, I don't blame you. And
I wish to hell that I could blame you boys.
right. But what I love about this moment is she's like, I don't blame y'all because he's talking about both of them, but then she like narrows in on him, right? And she like is like, no, look at me. I'm talking directly to you. She's like, Sam, none of this is
None
your
of it
fault.
is.
And I was like, oh my God, like
It's not your fault. And then
not,
so earnestly, none of it
yeah,
is.
none of it is.
Sam, none of it is.
And then calls him sweetie. And like even like Sam was like, I'm so sorry about what happened with my dad and that you lost your husband, like what happened. And then she moves on and she's
Yeah,
like, well, so what are you after, sweetie? And he kind of recognizes that same moment that she was respectful of with him before. So he shows her that same respect. Okay, I'm not gonna pry. Let's move on. And
got it.
I
Yep.
just love that they kind of have that connection. They respect one another there and that privacy that we're not that close yet. We're not going to talk about that yet, but that I do have affection for you. And I
Mhm.
do want you to know this is not your fault. And I do want you to know, Ellen, that I am sorry. It's just so sweet and
I
it's
love
not
it.
something we get often. So I really,
Yeah,
really love that moment.
yeah.
Sam doing things on his own and people being nice to him. I like that.
I like it. I like it.
Also, that Muse song was playing at the Roadhouse, and I was cackling in my head because I was like,
Oh,
"Are they Twilight fans?" But this is like before Twilight came out, like
is
the
it?
movie. It's
Oh,
before the movie came out because I think the
oh,
movie came out. Yeah, because it came out when I had graduated from college, and this is like my second year of college that this was
ah.
airing. So this was like the song Stephanie Myers was listening to writing Twilight.
Ah, this this song was on her playlist,
It
her
was.
Twilight writing
It literally
playlist.
was. It literally was.
That's funny.
No,
Um,
it is true. It is literal though.
it is.
It is unfortunately it is. It is
It's
true.
it is true. Um, oh man, what was I gonna
Ellen
say?
thoughts. Ellen thoughts.
Ellen thoughts.
Because also
Oh,
when he goes to leave and Dean's like she's like, I have to tell Dean. And he gets really like earnest and sincere, which is like one of our favorite types of Sam's. And he's like, "Look, I'm trying to find out stuff about myself. You gotta let me do that. You gotta promise me you won't tell him." And I'm like, "Oh my God." Like he doesn't get worked up. He's just like, "Please, Ellen." And
please.
she's like, "God damn it, you're
She
right."
puppy shoot. He puppy dog faces her into
He does.
um um I do think oh I remember what I was gonna say. I wonder I think it's probably obvious and I'm just saying nothing of any import, but so Dean knows this about Sam, this terrible stuff this whole
Yeah.
time. And so do you think him not wanting to go back to the Roadhouse is specifically because he's worried that somebody might figure it out? Because later, I
Yeah.
think later in this episode, right? He's like, somebody from here told Gordon. So, and the only people who know are you and Ash. So, what the hell did you do? And she's like,
Yeah. He's
all
such
these
a dick
hunters
to
are
forget
smart.
it.
I know. And she's like, all these hunters are smart and could have put this together. So it seems like I can't figure out if he knew but was kind of in denial that other hunters might put this together, or if he's genuinely doesn't want to go back to the Roadhouse because, I mean, it
I
would make
think it's a
sense.
little bit of all of those things and the fact that John always kept them secluded from everybody else when they were growing up and that just is a style of living that he's used to and more he feels again this all comes back to control because Dean can control what's in his sphere. If they go to the Roadhouse, it's out of his control because he's not
Yeah.
sure who's there, who these people are, what are they hearing, what are they talking about. That's one of the things I wrote down at the end of my notes was about that phone call with Ellen, and it's essentially that he wants to yell at her and berate her because Ellen's not controlling the people around her. And she literally has to say, like, dude,
I
I
can't control
cannot
these
control
people.
these people. Exactly. It's so clear that Dean is like, but you need to control people because that's what I do to make sure things are okay. So you need to do that to have my back. And she's like, no, like
It's not how it works.
that's not something that you can do. Like that's just not something that like people can do. And I do think that's something that Dean struggles with. And again, I think that's why Dean wants to get Sam not to like react early right after he's heard the news. He wants to get him to like agree to like pause for a second so that he can get his bearings again, but that so he can feel back in control again. So as
Yeah.
soon, of course, as Sam is he realizes Sam is dipped, he's scrambling, he's on the road, he's on a cell phone to Ellen, like, where is Sam? Like, and I feel like it always comes down to control. And that if
Yeah.
he's at the Roadhouse, he cannot control that many people around. And you know what would have helped if he had told Sam the truth? And then Sam could have better understood for himself what might be a safe environment for him to be in if that
Yeah.
was an element. And yet instead he chose to control the the transfer of information
Yeah.
too, and take it all on himself, which is not Sam's, like that's Dean's fault that it's so hard on him. He's not letting Sam be a part of it to help.
Yeah. And we also have to remember too that they did not end their last meeting with Ellen on really a positive note. So maybe
No,
he just is avoiding that confrontation.
totally. But if it were me, I wouldn't call Ellen demanding things, knowing that the last time we were together, we found out that it was my dad's fault that they lost dad slash husband. So it's kind of crazy to me. Like Dean's been avoiding it, but now he's calling in a favor. Like now he's
Because if it's
calling and
Sam,
yelling at Sam. Yeah, yeah, yelling about Sam.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
if it's
just
Sam, he'll do whatever.
100%. And it's so I don't know. I do think it's all of those things. I think it's all true because I think Dean is a contradictory person, like we saw in the last episode, Croatoan, like how quick he'll turn on his heels and be a hypocrite in the name of Sam. But all these things can exist at the same time within
Yeah,
Dean. So I think
yeah.
it's yeah,
He
I think
contains
all of the things.
multitudes.
Everything you
Yeah,
said is probably true.
he contains multitudes.
So many molts.
Well, is that what we're calling him now?
He's just full of molts.
He's got lots of molts in him, that one.
Oh my
That's just,
God.
let's cut that out.
No, I like it. We're gonna keep it. Hashtag molts.
Molt hashtag. Oh, right. So Sam learns where the last kid is.
Scott
That
Carey.
Scott Carey, who is
Hmm.
the last kid that meets the pattern, which I don't,
Hmm.
is 4 kids a pattern in a huge wide
I think it is
country?
because they also have those others that they've met aside from those four, right? Some of the people they had met, one of them they hadn't, but they had also encountered others.
Yeah, it didn't count anybody who didn't meet the pattern. But that was the
Yeah.
thing that was, I was like, there's only 4 that actually do meet the pattern, and Sam's one of them, and Andy Weems is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Weems.
this and Ansem, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And someone else, and then this last kid.
Yeah.
So he goes off to Indiana. Um, and this is the thing that makes me sad in any of these episodes is when they have to talk to
Yeah.
parents of victims.
It's tough.
It's hard for me to listen to his dad talk about his son.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just rough. It's rough.
Yeah.
Um, I've talked about it before, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make myself go through that again.
Yeah, please don't do anything that will make yourself sad or sadder.
Sadder.
Yeah.
But I will say after all of that, going through this kid's bedroom
Mm.
and then looking in the closet,
Mm-hmm. At
that
the
wall of yellow
shrine. Yeah, it's
eyes,
like a yellow-eyed
oh,
mural. It's very upsetting.
pretty affecting.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, and this is where I was starting to have that, this kid seems a lot less sane than Sam does.
Yeah, he was really breaking down.
He was really breaking down, but he's also being visited where Sam isn't really being visited. He's being talked to where Sam isn't being talked to.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I
Maybe
think
part of that
this,
whole experiment, different experiments for different kids thing.
yeah. Well, and as we said, we can't, there's no way they could do that with Sam because Sam knows who the yellow
Sam.
eyed
Yeah.
demon is and he knows what demons are.
Yep.
He's just too far onto it. One of the things I really loved about that moment, though, when he was coming back to the hotel that he got by himself, he knew instinctively that Ava was behind him and like
Yeah.
whipped around and grabbed her and she was like she was
I'm
like
just,
I'm trying to help you, like I'm trying to warn you, and he's like
please
this
don't hurt
giant
me.
man. She's like a tiny, what did they say, she was like 5'5", she's so small and he's like a foot taller than her. So
5'5". That's still taller than
so
me.
well, you were tiny, you're a little bitty, just a tiny little L. But
I'm so tiny. I only have one letter.
just that's all we can fit is one letter.
One letter.
She's one L tall. Um, so he
Yeah.
brings her inside. This awesome like wallpaper behind him makes him look very beautiful. He scoots his little bangs back away from his forehead.
Oh my God.
And so the crinkle of concern is clear and visible. And
TM.
it makes up for like having that ugly ass shirt in the first scene that carried over from last episode. And so then we just get like very like sincere, earnest Sam listening to Ava, who is basically just saying, I'm having visions and I feel like a crazy person. I'm sure you're gonna think I'm a crazy person. And him being like very on like very like sincere and like giving her actually the time of day because he doesn't think she's crazy.
what I wrote, the audacity of coming here afraid he's going to think she's crazy and then calling him insane for believing her and saying, "Oh yeah, you must be psychic like me."
And she's like, well, I
But
guess.
okay,
I'm
well, you're insane.
like, girl, come on now.
Listen.
But like hearing his sweet voice so like sincerely like tell Ava like I believe you and we're connected. Like I just love that. I love always the way he deals with like victims and people on the outside of
I
it because
love it.
he has so
He's
much
he's
empathy.
gentle.
Yeah, he's so gentle and like tender with the people he's like because he knows what an insane world he actually lives in. So he's
Yeah.
very like patient with their understanding and like processing of that.
He's careful.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
While Dean is like a blunt instrument, like they said he's like a blunt, like a hammer.
Yeah.
So,
Daddy's blunt instrument.
yep.
Ooh.
Blee.
And then she tries to leave because she's like, okay, forget this. I'm a secretary from Peoria. I'm getting married in 8 weeks and I'm behind on my wedding
My
invitations.
invitation.
So bye bye. And
Bye.
he's like, don't you want to know what's going on? And gives her the puppy dog eyes. And she's like, and the very next scene is her being the main character in his plan.
Yes. Yes. I love it. Like Ava, she's not a great number two in distracting the therapist so that
No,
Sam can sneak
it's
like
not.
past this window, but it's such a funny, cute scene.
It's so
I
funny.
and I love that Sam kind of like, okay, you're not a hunter, but you are involved. How can I make this as safe as possible for you, but still help me? And so I just
Uh-huh.
like that was really cute.
Um, yes, and then I'm sorry that she says, oh, "Holy crap!" when she sees him out the window, and then
Be
she the way
cool.
the way that she tries to recover from this when when the psychiatrist is like, "What?" She's like, "I just remembered once I ate 8 things of Pop Rocks and a can of Coke. Do you think that counts as a suicide attempt?" I'm just like, I love you. Can we
It's
keep you?
so cute. I know. I love
Oh,
I love little characters like this. I always get sad when I know that like they're not gonna last, but I do
yeah.
love that we get her a few. We'll get her a few
We get
episodes.
her, yeah, we get her at least one more time, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because the end of the season, she'll be there with the
Yeah.
others. But
And then I like that she's like set up as this like pink conventional girl talking
mhm.
about how normal she is. And when they get back from that escapade where they stole medical records, she's like, okay. She's kind of like
Yeah.
in shock. And he's like, are you
Are you
okay? And she's
okay?
like, I'm great.
I'm great. That was such a
That
rush.
was so
I'm
cool.
a bad bitch now.
She gets like this taste of being just a little teensy bit illegal, and she's like
Hmm.
super into it. I just love it.
She's the cutest.
Oh
Do
God.
we want to talk about the phone call that Dean makes to Ellen? And because I wrote that like the line, I swore I'd protect that kid, like really bothers me because I just see so often Dean conflating protect and control.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things Ellen continues to say to him is like, look, dude, like you cannot protect everyone. Like you cannot control everyone. She still says to him like where he is. And so I understand that as a mother, she would want him to do the same because that was their big fight last time was I asked you where my daughter was and you didn't tell me. So I get that. But
Hmm.
I like that she prefaces, like you can't protect everyone. And the kid thing where it's like he's a grown man. He's like 23, 24 at this point now. This is information about him. He
Hmm.
gets to decide how he reacts and finds out about it. And it's not like he's running towards death. It's not like he's out there like, well, I'm going to kill myself now. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't need to protect him from himself. So let him go and do some investigating. He wants to know why his dad would say this about him.
Well, and Dean wouldn't have to go and try to find him if he had just been like, "That's how you want to deal with this."
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Take
with you.
point. Let's go.
I will help you. He could be
Hmm.
helping his brother right now instead of having to call relative strangers to track him down.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's
Yeah.
not my tea.
100%.
So, so yeah, he does.
So he heads out there just in the nick of time because the big reveal that Gordon has been on Sam's trail, which is why the title is Hunted, which was stupidly surprising to me, was he Gordon shoots through the window at Sam and Ava. And I was watching like, who the fuck is it? What's happening? And then I was like, oh yeah, this is the Gordon episode. And so it scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh my God. Like I thought the episode was this where we find the stuff out and we find the other stuff out about Ava and like I forgot it was also the episode where Gordon is there. And what's so great is there's so many things happening and none of it feels forced. It's all
Mm-mm.
perfectly balanced. And I think I wrote, damn, these old episodes are so good.
They're so good. They're so well woven. And
Yeah.
like it I will say I kind of forgot that um at this point in the episode I kind of forgot that the main mystery was who killed this other kid, who stabbed this other kid.
Yeah.
Because it becomes okay, well, we've we're all psychic and what's going on with that. But they did just break in to steal the dead kid's psychiatric files.
Yeah. So they're like
So
listening to him when
they
Gordon
are,
shoots.
yeah, which is,
And it's really important stuff. Like the yellow-eyed demon was giving him straight off the like the notes of like the plan that they
yeah,
had. Like that's what he was telling his therapist that there are lots of special children and they're doing this specifically to create soldiers out of these special children. And Ava's standing there like 5'5" going, how am I supposed to do that? Like, what do you mean? Like, how are we
what?
supposed to become that? And she's so out of her element.
Yeah,
And then
which
when
I also love.
so cute. And then when Gordon shoots, like then Sam's on the roof across the street. Of course, at that point, Dean has punched Gordon, kept him from shooting Sam, and then Gordon just like knocks Dean
Yeah.
out, takes him. And one of my favorite moments was Sam like looking at he like picked up the bullet casings or whatever and was like, here's the kind of gun this was. It had to have been this and this. There must have been a silencer. And Ava goes, dude, who are you?
And
And
Sam's like,
it's like,
I,
oh, I just watched a lot of TJ Hooker. Like he's just like, I love
nothing.
TV. I'm a
This
normal
is
person.
this is the kind of stuff that I really love in shows. It
Yeah.
brings to mind, did you ever watch Leverage?
I watched parts of it, yeah, because you guys always talked about how much you loved it.
So like in Leverage, there's a character, Elliot, who's able to identify a stupid amount of details
Oh, I love
about
that.
whoever his opponent is by like a haircut or the shoe tread or
Mhm.
the cadence of footsteps or whatever. Like
Yeah.
he's able to just like identify, oh, they're this kind of military, but they were trained in this region or
Yeah.
whatever. Like he's
Yeah.
I love that kind of expertise.
Hmm.
Is called competence porn, and it's my
Yes.
absolute fave. And I hope we
She
don't
loves
get
it.
like banned for using the corn word, but
You can say porn on podcasts. You
can you?
just can't say it on TikTok. Yeah, TikTok will
Okay.
ban you. But yeah,
So
you
when
can
you
say
cut
whatever you
part of
want.
this for TikTok,
I'll
bleep
put a
that.
I'll put a little corn cob
A
over
little
your mouth.
corn cob over it. Um, gosh, I love social media. It's a whole different language. It's amazing.
We would have had
Anyway,
to say unalive instead of kill like all this whole time.
that's true. That's true.
Right.
Okay, so then yes, that is what that made me think of. I also wrote down when he picks up that bullet and is like,
Mm. Here's all these
something
things I
happened
know.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, it made me think of Legolas where he's like, oh,
Mm.
blood has been spilt this night. Anyways, so then we get
Dude,
to see
who are
another
you?
thing I know that you love is when Dean like calls Sam and like Dean is he's tied up and Gordon is holding the phone and they talk to each other and like Dean's like, yeah, come to this address, whatever. And Sam's like, okay, I'm on my way. Like, or Sam called Dean because Sam was like, I need help because
Mhm.
something bigger is happening. And then you realize when Sam turns to Ava, because you're like, oh no, he's gonna walk into this trap. And then Sam's like, my brother's in trouble. And he's like, there's a code word. And
He
I was
used a
like,
code word.
Elle loves it when they use a code
I
word.
love it when they have a code word. I love it.
Yes.
It makes the universe feel so lived in. I
Yes.
it harkens back to cases we must not have seen.
Yes.
Like
It's like
there's
when
been a situation where they needed this and didn't have it, so they set it up for the next time.
they
And
had a plan in place. It's the same like when they had that address set up. Like this is where we're gonna meet up if we ever get separated. So
yeah,
then this is the word we'll use on the phone if we have a gun on you, you say whatever,
Funky
Funky
Town.
Town.
And then and then Sam's so embarrassed that the code word is Funky Town.
Yeah.
He's like,
It's like, what?
Dean thought of it. Never
Yeah.
mind. It's a long story.
Yeah.
He's
And
like,
and
I
I
don't
then
want to talk.
I really like that they balance the writing is so much more balanced too, where it's like they like I love that Dean came to save Sam and he did beat up Gordon, but now Sam needs to go save Dean. Like it's just very nice.
It's nice.
And
It's balanced.
yeah, and when it's what's really sweet is that Ava, a sweet little like 5'5" nothing, like doesn't want Sam to die so much that she offers to come try to help him save Dean, even though she's already been out of her like element. And I just like love someone so genuinely being concerned about Sam's well-being
Me too.
and someone who isn't Dean and someone who isn't trying to control Sam, but is just like they respect what he says, allows him to make the choices, even if they don't necessarily agree with that choice. Like she doesn't want him to go. She's like, that's where the bomb is. And he's like, well, I'm going to go anyways. But it's just really sweet. And then she's like, well, call me later to let me know that you're okay. Like,
I just love that.
it's
I love it.
so sweet. Like you can care about someone, but you can also understand that they're going to do what they're going to do. And that is not for you to control it.
I love Ava.
I know I love her so much. She's the cutest.
She's so cute.
So once again, Gordon is a mirror to Dean. So they flash after
Yes.
that moment, they go back and they're having that conversation, and Dean is like tied up. And Dean, with his black and white worldview and how it cannot exist in context of Sam, he is watching Gordon discuss it explicitly once again about this time about Sam. So
Yes.
we get the I'm gonna call it like the dam is broken on the conversation at the beginning, where it used to be the two brothers have two different opposing views on hunting, and it was a metaphor or an allegory. Now the dam is broken. They're just talking about Sam, literally. And so
Yeah.
the same thing is happening again, and it's this perfect parallel to what Gordon and Dean did before, but now they are literally again talking about Sam.
Yeah.
And it's just so interesting because Sam has not and Dean keeps saying he will not become a monster. But Gordon is so certain that Sam will. He even uses like the baby Hitler argument, where like if you could go back in time and know Hitler was going to do the things that he's done in our history and you could wipe it out, you would do that. Like that's how certain Gordon is that
Yes.
Sam is going to turn into a monster. And that is how certain Dean has come across to Sam in the past when they have been arguing again in the same kind of way. Like, should we kill Lenore? Should we like kill these kids who may or may not be Croatoan, like whatever? And so I don't know. It's just so like richly packed into all of these episodes that it's just so again satisfying to watch it play out
Yeah.
in this episode.
Gordon is set up as like a sort of Dean taken to the greatest extreme.
Yep.
In Bloodlust, that
Mm-hmm.
was sort of the setup. If
Mm-hmm.
Dean allowed himself to fully give into the black and white mindset of monster versus human, as he was on the path to doing,
Right.
if every monster was an it and killing it took precedence over preserving life,
Mm-hmm.
um, this is what Dean would end up like. So when Dean asks what happened to the girl the demon was possessing, when Gordon's talking about that, and Gordon says she
They
didn't
didn't
make
make
it,
it. Ooh.
Dean is like, well, you're a son of a bitch, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
But we also know that Dean will be doing that in the future.
Oh yeah.
He will be killing demons at the expense of humans. So,
Yeah. And did he not just do that in Croatoan without a
yes,
blinking?
yeah. So it like I know the show has to escalate, and it seems natural that as they fight more demons, they will have more human host casualties.
Yeah.
And they do make a point of saying this, in season 4, which we'll talk about, when Sam has a way to kill demons without harming humans.
Yeah.
But
And that's why it's
but
such
Dean
an
prioritizes
Mhm.
the method that kills humans along with the demons
Yeah.
over Sam's method.
Yeah.
Like it we see that Dean grows into Gordon more than his season two self would hope to do so.
Yes.
And interestingly, this scene is almost the color is so desaturated that it is almost in black and white,
Yeah.
except in the scenes with Dean's face like fully in frame.
Mm.
Those ones feel like they're more in color. Like
I love that
the colors
observation.
of their shirts and stuff is
Hmm.
all like very close. Is so desaturated as to be in black and white. So it's just a beautifully done scene.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Gordon pulling the "oh, you're not the man your daddy was, I guess" card on Dean. And I the way I interpreted Dean, the look on Dean's face is like, well, my dad told me to kill Sam, so I hope to God I'm not the man he
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
was. Like, that's how I want to read
Literally.
it. Like, oh, cool, bringing my dad into this. Well, you might not know this, but me and my dad have kind of
He was
a
like,
complicated relationship.
funny story. Funny you should mention that right now. Oh
Funny,
my
funny thing
God.
about that.
We're at the point where Dean is being told by Gordon how Sam is going to essentially come to save him and walk through Gordon's traps. And Dean is gagged at this point, so it's very upsetting. Like it's very horrible to watch him think Sam is about to die and there's nothing he can do.
Is
Hmm.
they hear the lock pick
Hmm.
of Sam getting in,
Yep.
and then they hear the first explosion,
Hmm.
and that's bad enough. But then I don't know that there's a sound that alerts them that Sam is there, but Gordon is so sure that Sam skipped the first trap
Hmm.
that they're listening and on edge, and then the second explosion, even bigger than the first one. And the look on Dean's face is like,
It's awful.
it's so terrible because it's it's evidence that he did spot the first one,
Yes.
but it's also evidence that he missed the second one.
Yeah. He like detonates the first one and like Gordon is like, I expected him to detonate it and
Mhm,
then not expect the second one. And so they both think that Sam is dead.
mhm.
And Sam, of course, is not. But Gordon goes in there to
What
check.
do you mean? He's not dead?
No, not yet. I said, I love my tall son. Because he like puts a gun to the
He's
back of
so
Gordon's
tall.
head. Yeah, and he's just like, drop the gun. And then he kind of has to fight Gordon. And Gordon says, you're no better than the filthy things you hunt, which is like, you can just hear the hatred like in his voice.
Oh my gosh,
He
yes.
does the hunt. He hunts because he has hatred in his heart. Like he loves the hunt because he is a hateful person.
Yeah,
And I love Sterling K. Brown. Like he does this role so well. He's so even kill. He's so like there's no yelling. It's all very like just very low voice, very steady, but he's so full of
he's so good.
rage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Sam ends up saving himself. He knocks the knife like out of Gordon's hand at one point. Like he's knocked out on his back, and
He's
then Gordon
a
pulls the
good
knife.
enough fighter that he can turn the tables on Gordon.
Yeah. And the whole time Dean is like trying to get undone and he
Yeah,
is unable to until Sam takes care of it himself. And
yeah,
Gordon says, like, show your brother you're the killer that you really are, Sammy. And he just knocks him out with the butt of the gun because he's just like,
yeah.
whatever. And
Well,
he goes, it's Sam.
so okay, so the thing that I love the most about this, or did I love it, or what did I just enjoy it? I don't know. Gordon is taunting Sam about what he will become and saying, Dean thinks you're a saint, blah, 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 blah. And Sam's like, nuh-uh. And
I'm not so
not
sure.
not like I'm not so sure. Yeah. That's much better reproduction of Sam than my nuh-uh.
Oh my God,
Um
thank you.
oh my God. But in
So
the end,
funny.
Sam can't take the shot. He's like 2 feet
Mm-mm.
away from Gordon with a gun on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he could have easily even just wounded Gordon, but
Mm-hmm.
he can't even take the shot at all. So meanwhile, Gordon is like, oh, you're gonna be evil. And he's like, nuh-uh, I'm bad. Like, Dean thinks you're a saint. Nuh-uh, I'm bad. I've got a gun on you. And he still can't take the shot. And I just think that's really funny.
Yeah. Well, I
So,
don't think that's part of the plan though, right? Like that's
no,
not
it's not.
even that he
No.
can't. It's that he won't. Like he's like, I called the
Yeah.
police already. Like I just need to knock this asshole out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Mhm.
know. But like, he still runs a very real risk of getting killed by Gordon.
Yeah,
If you, I
100%.
mean, like, shoot him in the leg or something. Like, get him
Yeah.
down so he's not coming after you. But luckily, he's like, Sam is like a pretty good fighter. So even though he gets the shit beat out of him by Gordon,
Yeah.
both of these boys, Gordon
Yeah.
beats the shit out of both of these boys in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
episode.
Well, Dean throws a few heavy punches. I was really shocked at how much blood came out of Gordon's mouth on the roof when he was
Yes.
first like taking a shot at
Oh,
Sam.
well,
I was like, whoa,
because Dean said, you do that to my brother, I'll
I'll
kill
kill
you.
you. Hmm.
So I was like, that is a real good way to show that Dean is very serious then. But then it's interesting that Gordon sets himself up to win this confrontation no matter what happens. Either
Hmm.
Sam shoots him and
Hmm.
Dean starts to doubt that Sam is really a good person, and then maybe eventually Dean finishes the job
Yeah.
because he's planted the seed of doubt. Or Gordon's jeer about proving to Dean that Sam is a monster causes Sam to not kill him, which
Hmm.
leaves Gordon alive to try again another day. Like,
Yeah.
Gordon wins either way in this situation.
Yeah,
And then I
he's
took a
just fearless.
screenshot. Yeah. And then I took a screenshot of heavy breathing. And then I took a screenshot of
Yay!
it's Sam.
Send those over to me because they're going in the visuals.
I will send them. And I have to say, I like it better when they cut the ropes off rather than just untie them because,
Mm.
like, I'm supposed to believe that Sam just kind of flumps those ropes off when he's like half conscious. But okay,
Flumps.
flump, flump. And then so they're leaving. They're like, oh, it's over, blah, blah, blah. And then Gordon shows up. Surprise, surprise. The guy you thought you knocked out but didn't actually incapacitate or tie up in
And
any
now he
way
has more
comes running.
guns,
He
more
has
guns than
more
ever.
guns. Gordon, now with more
Well,
guns
and
than
Dean was
ever.
like wanting to kill him, and Sam was like, "No, I took care of it. Like,
I took care of it. I
trust
took care of it.
me, trust me, because my
And
boy is resourceful and brilliant." Okay.
yes, and I feel like I have things to say, and you can cut this out of the episode if it
No.
gets to be too weird.
Oh
But
no.
listen, listen, ACAB, okay? Calling the police on a black man who is actively shooting a gun.
This is exactly what I wrote down. Al, this is what I wrote down.
But I mean, if it's between that and shooting dead, for sure, a
Yeah.
person in a house, like one way gives him a chance to survive?
Well,
Question
I
mark,
mean,
question mark.
Dean was gonna kill him. Well, and the thing
And also he is actively trying to
he's
kill
a
you.
serial killer. Like
He
he's
is.
actively admitted multiple times to killing people that you, the audience and the Winchesters have been like, wait a second, that person
Dang.
maybe was probably just innocent. Like, why
That
did he do
person
that?
hadn't done anything yet. No, but he
Yeah.
would have. No, 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 no. No, Gordon.
Yes.
That's not how, like, he is
But
not a
as a
safe person to
practice,
have in the world,
we do
but
not
like,
co-sign that,
it
Sam. But
makes me very uncomfortable.
oh yeah, it was, I was like,
I'm very
no.
uncomfortable about that being the solution. But this was also in what, 2006?
Yeah, 2006, 2007, I think, is
We
when this
didn't know
aired.
things about
Well, white people didn't.
what, yeah. Well,
White
I'm a
Americans
white
didn't.
people. I'm
Yeah,
a white people. Audrey is a white people.
we are a white
We
people.
are a white people.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I
Yeah, the
mean,
optics weren't as glaring as they are now. Like
yeah.
Christy made that same point a few times, like
Yes,
especially in
that's
that
a good way
episode,
to.
like last season when we were doing the racist truck one. She
Oh
was
my
just like, "Oh
God.
my God." And we were like, "Yeah, the optics were just
Yeah.
like not," and now they're so glaring. But so anyways, they find his like arsenal. Like he has
Oh
this
my
like
God.
arsenal, like it's like a
It rivals
rollout
the
trail
Winchesters.
or
It's
tray.
way Mhm.
No, yeah, yeah. It was
It's sexy.
it is. It's so cool. It rolls out the side of the seat in the front. It looks cool, but
It looks hella cool. It's so
is this guy
organized.
a terrorist? Like they're not going to understand that this guy is just
Uh-uh.
like a run-of-the-mill hunter with like a cooler setup. Like they're
Yeah.
going to think like, holy shit. So yeah,
He's special bad as far
yeah.
as these police are concerned.
They
I
took
wrote an
care of Gordon for a
entire
long time.
yes, I wrote an entire paragraph working through my emotions on that, and then I just read the last couple of sentences. So
Is it the rape joke that Dean makes about prison?
no, no,
Oh,
it's just on calling the police on
yeah.
a
Well, that was part of my
black
notes
person.
is, and of course Dean is going to have to make that joke.
Ugh, ugh. He made a lot of yucky jokes
Yeah, like there
in
were
this.
those when he saw Ava was with Sam, like he was immediately like, "Oh yeah, they're smashing." And it's like she could just be a person. She doesn't have to be like
Well,
sex.
your brother just found out that your dad told you to
To
kill
kill
him
him.
and that you've been keeping it a secret for months, and you think the first thing he's gonna go do is
Like shack up with the some girl he
get
just met.
laid? Like, come on. Yuck. Gross. But
So
I will say, let's see. Oh, okay. He says, "You ever take off on me like that again? What? You'll kill me?" Oh, that's so not funny. And then he says something about going to Amsterdam,
yeah, he's a
and he
screw the
says,
job.
"Yeah, I hear the coffee shops don't even serve coffee." The first time I heard that, I was so innocent that I was like, I don't know what else they would serve other than coffee. I think I just assumed it was like a random thing Dean said to make it sound salacious. Like I get it now.
I don't. What do you mean?
Oh, so in Amsterdam, some drugs are legal,
Okay.
and you go to a coffee shop.
Oh, okay. So you can just get drugs.
Yes,
What
some
kind of
some
drugs? Like
drugs.
anything?
No, I don't think anything. I think it's mostly just like pot.
Oh,
I've been to Amsterdam once, and I was very much like, oh, thank God, a coffee shop. And then my friend was like, nope.
there's just weed there. Well, that's like going to Oklahoma from here. Like if you have
Yeah,
like a doctor's note, you can just like get weed. But like, well, from here, but I mean that like as Tex, I'm a Texan. Sorry, I don't.
yeah.
It's not legal here, and our stupid like government wants to make it even more illegal somehow. I don't know. We're going backwards, but anyways,
What?
yeah, it's so stupid. Our
Dude,
AG, he is
move to
such a piece
Maryland.
of shit. I swear to God, I want to move so bad. Anyways, I thought when you said it was salacious that it was like sex work or like
I
cocaine or
assumed it
heroin,
was gonna be something like I
like
that's what I
bad,
assumed when
bad.
I was younger.
Oh, it's just weed. Okay.
It's just weed though.
Dean, relax. You're not that special.
I think it's just weed. I
That's cute.
hear I hear the coffee shops don't even have coffee, but they do have a thriving like red light district
Oh, then no
in
wonder
Amsterdam.
he would have a fun time
He
there.
would have a great time in Amsterdam
But
if he
Sam
could get on
says
an airplane.
he's gonna have to go on a ship. Anyway,
Oh.
but Sam says you can't run from this and you can't protect me. He's like, I tried to run, it didn't work, and you can't protect me. Like, this is happening, and we need to know what to do to face it, basically. So,
And
and that's it. Like they have a
well,
Sam
Dean
gets
says,
oh, go ahead.
I
Go
wasn't
ahead.
meant to do anything. He doesn't believe in
Oh,
destiny.
you're
He's
right.
sick of the job. Like
That's a big
th this is
conversation, the
this is
destiny
Dean
conversation.
saying this
Mm-hmm.
whole I'm sick of the job. I wasn't meant to do anything. Doesn't believe in destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam's like, you don't believe in my
You
destiny.
don't
And
want to
he's
believe
like,
in mine. Yeah.
yeah, no, I don't want to believe in yours. Yours is scary. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. I like how he's just like, if I don't believe in it, it's not real.
Yeah, right.
It's not gonna happen.
I don't believe in gravity, and that's why I can fly.
That's why I can
Um,
just float away.
and can I just say how much I hate bitch jerk? I hate it so. I have
I hate it
never
so
liked
much
it.
that I just like didn't write it down that we got that moment. I'm like, okay, everyone thinks it's so cute. And I'm like, okay.
I wrote it down because I wrote down I hate it.
Yeah, I don't
In
like
all
it
caps.
either. I'm glad we're on
I
the
hate
same
it.
pages about that because I really don't like it. I
I really
really
don't
hate
like
it. I
it.
don't think it's cute.
I do think it's really random that Ava's ring is left behind. Okay, so then at the end,
Yes, he
they
gets a
do go
I
to
got a
Ava's.
feeling.
Yeah, because he's been calling and calling and calling, no answer, no answer. So they go to check on her,
Mm-hmm.
and her ring is left behind. And like I get that they need to they need to make sure that we know that this massacre of her fiance happened after she got back, so
Mm-hmm.
that we know she isn't just not home yet. She actually was there when it happened and has been abducted
Yes.
or something, taken in some
Yes.
way. But like, if I have an engagement ring, it's sized to my finger and it's not going
Right.
to just fall off randomly.
Unless you're covered in blood and so it slipped off.
I guess. Maybe I just have really fat fingers. I don't know.
It's no, I think you've just never been covered in blood.
Oh,
Like I think if like blood it does that. Like right? Hopefully you've
it's
never been
slippery.
covered in blood, but like it's so slippery. Yeah. So I could see
It
it
is
happening because
slippery.
there's so much blood there that like it might like slip off of your finger because of how slippery the blood is.
Yeah, I guess. And if you're like being grabbed by the hand and you're trying to slip your hand out of someone's grasp, or maybe her husband was trying to grab her hand, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems weird, but I
It
understand
is
why it's there.
weird, but I can actually it's one of those things where like I can give it to the writers just because I don't know if they actually thought of this, but I know that blood is really slippery. And I like all the true crime I've ever watched, like
All
so I'm like, okay, I can give it to the writers. Like that
right.
maybe it makes sense because of this. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
Do we want to do final thoughts and then rate this episode?
Yeah,
Which what anything else you got to say? We have gone through 2 pages of notes for me, 5 pages of notes
five
for
pages for
you.
me.
What must we cover like before we rate if we
I
left it
covered
out?
everything for once.
Me too. Okay, virtual high five.
Woo!
We did
Bam.
it. Oh my God. Okay, so let's just rate this. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. What's
So
first?
we're going to start with wardrobe. And we've got horrendous, adorable, genuinely good, or terrible, but great. So what is yours for this one?
I think I know he starts off in the shirt.
Mm-hmm. The
Um
shirt.
the shirt. But honestly, nothing in this episode stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go with adorable but normal or whatever.
Adorable. Okay.
Adorable.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I went with genuinely good because I
Oh,
genuinely loved what he wore the rest of the episode and that he started pushing his bangs away from his
oh,
forehead.
I did like the
Finally,
bangs. Yeah.
my favorite. And he just looked stunning the entire episode. Even though we had to look at that ugly like moose boot.
That shoe,
The
that moose
moose
boot.
boot. Yeah, I genuinely liked it. I enjoyed myself.
Good.
Like his aesthetic was good.
His
Okay,
whole deal.
let's rate on the Sam fan friendly scale. We've got screen time, enjoyment, and heart eyes. We're rating it on a scale from 1 to 5. Elle, what did you think about screen time?
I thought the screen time was very good. He
Mm-hmm.
is going off on his own in this episode, which means
Mm-hmm.
we get lots of him interacting with other people,
Mm-hmm.
without Dean even being there.
Yeah.
Um, so and being like badass on his own
Yes.
and coming up with plans on his own,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding code words and stuff we get from his
Yeah.
perspective. So I gave this like a really healthy 4.8.
Heck yeah. I gave it a 5. I thought it was a perfect episode for screen time. The
Oh my
whole
gosh.
thing is Sam slanted. We get to see him be off on his own with people who treat him with respect and kindness. We get to see him return that kindness. We get to see him being competent. We get to see him being smart. We get to see him being pretty. Like he saves the day. He saves Dean. He sets his boundaries. Like I need to figure this out, and this is the truth. I just loved it. I gave it 5 for screen time, and it's one of the few Sam centric episodes. It is truly about Sam. Like we've had
Yes.
Sam slanted episodes, but it's still about the brothers. This is about our boy. So I really loved
Yes.
that.
I love
Okay.
that.
Enjoyment.
Enjoyment. I enjoyed
Hmm.
the heck out of this.
I know it's so good.
And I want to I have not done a 5.0.
Mm-hmm.
yet, but now that you've done one and kind of like broken the seal, I kind of want to, for enjoyment,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is
A 5.
at least a 4.99.
You don't like to give round numbers, I know. I'll give it a
I
4.99
know.
for you. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I gave it a 5 because I was like, this is the kind of episode
So good.
we dream of. Like we love it. It is everything about it is if Sam was the only star of the show, it would be like this. And I
Yep.
love that. And I think he was the star. Everything about this episode, every element of this episode was about him. And I love that for us. So
Yeah.
I gave it a 5 too.
I love that for us.
I know. Hard Eyes.
I give that a 4.8. Are you
Plaything.
gonna give it a 5?
Nope. No, 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 no. 4.8. Well, because my 5 is like reserved for other things. But yeah, like it was a 4.8. He was so he was gorgeous. He was adorable. He was so cute. He was funny in moments. He was like
It
very
was
earnest and
earnest.
yes,
Oh
and sincere. But then
gosh.
like he's just stunning. Like I love how tall he is when he was badass with the like he had the gun on Gordon. I love that he's finally pushing his hair back. So like it's not just like a little baby like bangs, but he's starting to look like the Sam that we really love, like from seasons 3, 4, and 5. Like that's my favorite like styling of him. And
Hmm.
so I don't know. It was up there for me. So I gave it a 4.8.
I love it.
So we gave it a 4.9 is my average and a 4.8 is yours. So we have rated this episode.
Woo!
Woohoo! We're ready for episode 11, Playthings.
Let me get my notes.
Oh my God, grab your notes. I only have like one page of notes for this one.
Let me
I
see how
love it,
many.
but it's not as important. Though there are important moments in this one for sure.
There are. All right.
So Playthings starts. I'm going to go ahead and do the summary while you grab your notes. And it's like a haunted house and there is a horrible like accident at this like it's basically a bed and breakfast and in an old Victorian. And so there's a mom and then a little girl and a second little girl and then like someone dies horribly with their head twisted all the way around in the cold open. So we switch to Sam and Dean's perspective. They have been looking for Ava for a month in Peoria?
Peoria.
I almost said
Peoria.
Peoria,
Peoria.
in the area of Peoria. And so, and so I really love that. I love that little like moment where they're like, they've literally been trying to find her for a month, which is to say that they're dedicated to making sure this poor girl is okay, which I love. But they get word about the haunted house and I think it's from Ellen and Sam's like, let's go do it. He clarifies it's not because I want to abandon Ava, but I don't want to let other people be harmed in while we wait to find her because it's been a month. So they head out there, they check in, they're mistaken for a gay couple again. And they basically work this case where there is like voodoo like symbols around, but they don't understand why. Eventually, they do understand that there is an old grandma who's like kind of a vegetable, like locked in her own like body, who had a stroke earlier that month, who is very ill and has a big history with the house. And eventually it is revealed that all of the bad stuff happening is happening because the second little girl is actually a ghost and she is causing all kinds of bad things to happen. And they're not even able to get rid of the ghost. Like she kind of like Rose the grandma ends up fixing everything. But um basically Maggie, the invisible girl, tricks the daughter Tyler into almost drowning in the pool. Sam saves her as well as earlier Dean has to like tackle the mom out of the way of like a car that's driving on its own. And as they get the women out of the house, the grandmother in her I don't know how she's communicating with the ghost, but with the little girl Maggie, she agrees to be the one who dies to stay in the house with her instead of Tyler. And so everything's fine. So the boys were there to like save the women, but they didn't really get rid of the ghost. The ghost just was like pacified, I guess. And then they leave. And I think that's everything.
Yeah.
it's a good one. It's a good one.
It is a good one.
Not a ton of myth arc, but it's a good story. And Dean kind of enters the story being like, "Woo, it's like a real haunted house." He's like, "We never get to do stuff
Yeah.
like this." And I was like, "That would
We
be
never get
me."
to.
I love a haunted house. That I was like, "That's
I mean, my whole first like thing is, ooh, I love the creepy opening. Ooh, I like this good old-fashioned creepy haunted house stuff. And then of course Dean rucks up like, oh, cool, good old-fashioned haunted house. And I'm like, shit. All right.
you're just like Dean."
I'm just like Dean. No, I'm
I
not.
I do want to start by saying that there's a beautiful like forest green long sleeve t-shirt that Sam is in, not a button up.
Mm.
It's just like a nice like normal linen t-shirt and I do love that. I love the switch from like the boxy kind of rectangular like polos and stuff to this like kind of relaxed fit that he's in and
Mhm.
even Dean at one point. I think it might be the first time we've seen Dean in just like a nice like t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt without button up, without a jacket. He's just kind of soft.
Okay, so the cold open is a beautiful, creepy haunted house thing. And it's got dolls, the little girl that she puts the guy in the rocking chair, but the doll
Hmm.
disappears and she's looking for the house, like, okay, I put him here somewhere. And then he fall the real life version of that doll falls down the stairs and his head is like all twisted
Backwards.
around. And
Hmm.
the mom seeing her daughter's face as she witnesses this traumatic
Hmm.
event is just like that's horrific.
Yeah. She's like,
Uh,
look away, don't look down here.
Don't look
Which is,
away. But
yeah,
she also can't do anything because she's
yeah,
down to like she can't block
yeah.
the entire
And she's on the phone
uh,
with the police too. So she's
yeah,
just like, don't look down here. I have
just
stuff
like
I have to
a
handle.
hopeless um but that's the cold open.
Yeah, it's very, very violent. It's very
Very
upsetting.
violent, very upsetting, very aesthetic.
Yeah.
Um and then um we cut back to Sam and Dean.
Hmm.
And that's when we find out about how long they've been looking for Ava, blah blah
Hmm.
blah. And Dean is like, so I thought
I thought you'd be
I
droopier since we haven't found
yeah,
Ava.
the
Droopier.
patented Sam Winchester way, angst and droopy music. And
Hmm.
my question is, have we seen that pattern before aside from Jess, who's like understandably a different situation? Because I know in the future we get a Sam who is, if anything, more driven when he is grieving.
Yeah, I think it
Like
was
maybe
just
he has
Jess.
droopy music, but he is always more
He has
driven.
this sad boy playlist.
Sad, he has a sad boy playlist, but it's always accompanied by lots and lots of hunting. Like he
Right.
throws himself into his work in the future. So I
Mm.
was trying to think if we had any examples of him just being angsty and droopy after some kind of blow like this, and I can't.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's more of his attitude and he isn't as like I don't know. Oh my God. I just remembered Heart. I was about to use that as an example, but like we haven't gotten there yet. So um maybe he just means like it's not that you're not sitting around pouting, but that you're actually like upbeat and like kind of because
Mm,
he goes, well, I mean, uh I'm not going to let other people die while we're looking. There's nothing we can do right now. And Dean goes, that attitude is way too healthy for me and it's very cute. It's kind of the brother dynamic I live for where they're like playfully
yeah,
like so
I
maybe
know it.
he just mean right? But maybe that
I
he just
love it.
means like you're not sad. You seem to be kind of like
You seem
chilling.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the
Like
droopier
Dean's
thing
way
is
of,
like a way of like kind of like negging him by also being like, I'm glad to see you're not like
yeah, like
weeping.
Dean's way of checking in to be like, "Hey, I thought you would be really, really upset, but you seem okay. Are you okay?"
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm okay. Cool. Cool, 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 cool.
I like
Great.
how healthy
Let's
you
get out
are.
of here.
Yeah.
Now that I've checked on you, let's go do some stuff that is less chick flicky or
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah. Let's
Gene
like
would
move on
say.
to let's go do this. Yeah, he says, tell Ellen we'll do it. So they head out.
Yeah.
And
And of course Sam spots the spell work.
Yes, and he recognizes the specific symbol too, which I
Yeah, the
know
five spot.
Vic will want to talk about.
Yes,
She'll be like,
yes, she will.
but
I
it's very
love that.
cool.
Yeah, I love that. I thought this was very good character work, especially they do this so well in the earlier seasons where um they don't fall into the archetypes of like Sam knows stuff and Dean doesn't.
Mm,
Because that's such lazy like writing.
yeah.
Sam spots it and
Hmm.
but as soon as he says it, oh yeah, this is a five spot. Dean's like,
Hmm.
huh. But isn't that like hoodoo
Yeah,
stuff? Like
we're
he didn't
yeah.
spot it, but as soon as Sam says it, he's like, "Oh yeah,
He knows the lore,
he
yeah.
knows the lore about it."
Hmm.
And he can like point out, "Yeah, but the it's supposed to be this kind of plant." And Sam's like, "Yeah, but there's no kind of that plant in here." Like
Right.
so Sam can still be like
Competent and have a
the
great
competent,
memory. Yeah.
yeah, but it doesn't take away from Dean also being a really good hunter.
Yeah.
So
Can
I
be both.
love when they are able to do that because in later seasons we don't get that as much. We get a lot
100%.
of archetype.
Yeah. So
Um,
so they enter the bed and breakfast. And Sam and Dean were told that they look like the type
the type
to be
king
gay love.
king size bed.
And so does
Dean
the
is so
Bagman.
self-conscious. He looks himself up and down like,
Well, and then the
huh,
Bagman does the same thing. He's like antiquers. Like, do you remember there's a Tumblr person called Antiquers who is
yeah.
a he and she or they, whoever they are, like is into Wincest, which I think is such a
I think
perfect
it's really
name for
perfect.
that. It's so funny.
Antiquers.
And
That's
then
so
Sam
funny.
tells Dean, like, oh yeah, I mean, you are pretty butch. You're probably seem like you're overcompensating for
Which
something.
I have so many thoughts about that. For one thing, um, when Dean, I mean, Dean is like, what? No, why would you? Well, what did you mean we look the type? Like, it could have such a no homo feel,
Hmm.
but he just seems so like genuinely like, wait a minute, what about my look makes you think that
Yeah.
it like, wait,
Well,
what?
and then
And then
later, what's funny is he decides to use it and they lean into it and go ahead and help
mhm.
it become a way for them to get closer to the dolls and do more
Yes.
investigating,
Yeah.
which is
Of
very
course, he
cute.
throws that, but he throws that at Sam because of the overcompensating remark that
Yeah.
Sam made. He's like, okay,
So
cool. Well, I can give it back to you,
he
brother.
wouldn't tell you, but he loves to dress up his little dolls at
He loves
home.
to, don't you? Yes. Like, but I also like in the antiquer scene, damn damn. Sam is calling out
Damn
Dean.
insane.
Damn insane. Sam is calling out Dean for looking butch, like he might be overcompensating. He doesn't say anything about Dean being too pretty
Yeah.
or calling him anything girly.
Yeah.
What because he could have gone either way. And what he says
Yeah.
was too manly, probably overcompensating, which I
Hmm.
just find that a very interesting way to go because
Hmm.
it's teasing his brother, but also not not compromising his sense of masculinity,
Yeah.
Dean's sense of masculinity.
I
Like
agree.
you look so manly that they probably think you're compensating.
Yeah.
Like what kind of what
Yeah.
kind of brother relationship is that? Like it's just it's interesting to me that Sam doesn't immediately go because it feels anti-misogynist, I think is where I'm going with
Right.
it. Feels
Yeah.
anti-misogynist
Hmm.
to not say anything about, well, I probably think you probably spend too much time on your hair or something that would be kind of like girly things are bad.
Right.
And instead, I don't know. I wrote it down because it but I haven't unpacked it. I can't figure out why it feels important to me.
It just feels it's just different. Like it's there it's not the low-hanging fruit. Like the low-hanging fruit is because like, well, you do have sparkly eyes or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it is to like punch down and instead he was just like, I don't know. your super mask. It could just be that you're over, like you're just trying too hard or whatever, like, and it feels true to both who Dean is and Sam is without punching down. I think that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do love that they knocked on her door, the door that says private, without any kind of idea about what they're going to say if she actually answered it. Like, good
Well,
job, you guys.
they
You're
did a good job with their improvisation.
eventually,
Like,
when she's like, so can I help
what's
you?
up,
They're
you
like,
weirdos? You very tall
um,
weirdos.
right. Dolls. I see there are dolls in here. That can't possibly have been the reason that we knocked on your door because we didn't
Because
know
we
there were
can't
dolls in there.
see.
But now we're gonna pretend that was the whole reason we were asked.
She's like, have y'all been looking through the windows at my
Like,
dolls?
what's happening with you and these dolls? But yeah,
Also,
it's
Hereditary borrowed from this episode, by the way. Like, have you seen Hereditary?
I have not.
It's horrific. Everyone loves it. I hate it. I think it's trauma porn. I do not think it's a very good horror story because it manipulates you because it's so horrific that you're just like, well, of course I'm scared because everything I just witnessed was terrible. But anyways, there's a whole element of Hereditary. People are gonna kill me for that because everyone says Hereditary is the best movie, but I think you
It
guys are all being trauma bonded to the movie. That's all it is. But
bonded to the movie and to each
literally,
other.
yeah, they have like a bond to their abuser in Hereditary. But anyways,
Oh my
there's
God.
a whole element of Hereditary where there's a dollhouse. Like Toni Collette's character creates these beautiful dollhouses and they reflect the house they're in. And they actually have little dolls inside the dollhouse that reflect the people who live in there. And after her mother dies, like her like spirit is kind of around and that there's a doll that reflects that in the house and it reflects some of the weird stuff that's going on in the house. And so I was watching this and I was like, okay, Ari Aster, I know what you are. You're a
You're
supernatural
a
fan.
supernatural fan.
Yeah. That's what it made me
That's
think of.
funny.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Also, that woman isn't disturbed enough. Like, two people die horrifically in her house, and she's like, man, we really have bad luck. I'm like, girl, bad luck?
Girl, and your kid's doll, who looks like the first dude, his head was twisted around.
And then the other one was
And the
hanging from a
second one was
ceiling
hanging from the fan, the same way the other one
in
was
a dollhouse.
that looks exactly like your house.
Why is your kid playing about murder? She's a future true crime fan. She's probably watching Forensic Files on the reg.
She probably is. Okay.
So, my next note is, oh, this is the Drunk Sam episode.
I love the Drunk Sam
I
episode.
even recognize his little pearl snap like outfit, and I don't know why it didn't hit me. But it obviously is one of the cutest Sam moments of all time, though it doesn't, sadly. He's like, you're bossy and short. And then Dean's like, are you drunk? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
like, it's so funny. And I think it's because it's so outside of Sam's character to normally be silly and just
yeah.
like outwardly just like belligerent because he will be rebellious, but not like kind of stupid. And I just love that he's like, yeah, so
So like that's his version of being a surly drunk. It's just being like,
yeah, you're
so
bossy and
you're bossy.
and he's not. He's literally 6'2", but it's fine.
Sure. Only in comparison to
to,
Jared.
to Jared. Yeah, and Jared's just the giraffe man. So and it's
Um,
so cute, but then it
yeah.
gets sad because he starts crying.
Yeah.
And
When he says the words my destiny, Dean, I'm just like my heart
it's so
like
sad.
it's so painful to watch
You
him.
can tell that like there's so much pressure that he puts on himself. And he's like, I should have saved this guy, I should have saved the hanging guy, I should have saved all these people. And Dean's like, you can't save them all. And he's like, no, but you don't get it. Like the more people I save, the more I can change who I'm going to become, like change my destiny.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because it's like all of this stuff that he's tried to push back against you we are it's revealed that he's internalized it actually too, and that
Yeah.
even though he's like, no, this isn't going to be who I am, I'm in control of that, he is fearful that it isn't in his control, and that if he doesn't do enough to combat it, what if it happens anyways?
Yeah. And when he extracts this promise from Dean,
Mm-hmm. He's like, you need to watch out for me. And the wording is very interesting because like Dean's like, yeah, I always watch out for you. And he's like, no, you need to watch out because
Watch
like,
out for
yeah,
me.
you need to look out because what if I am bad? Like you need to like protect yourself from me.
Yeah.
And if I ever turn into something I'm not, I love the way he phrases that. If I ever turn into something I'm not, like that will not be me. That will be
Mhm.
something else.
Yeah.
Um,
And then he pulls the dad card when Dean tries
you
to
have to
refuse.
kill me. Yeah.
Dad told you to. Dad told you to do it. You have to.
And dad's an ass. You don't leave that kind of crap on your kids. So true, Dean. I
So
agree with
true.
you.
Good job saying it out loud, my
But you
friend.
you should have believed that long enough ago that you could have also told Sam in like a sooner amount of time than you did. But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
love when Dean comes around regardless.
He comes around, and Sam begging Dean to
Just
kill him if he turns
pleading.
evil.
You're the
Oh, oh.
only one who can do it.
It's such a cruel
It's
promise
awful. It's
to
awful.
make Dean make. But
It's awful. It's
Sam
un it's
also, with
ugh.
every bone in his body, Sam doesn't want to be an evil thing. And the
Yeah.
only person he has to keep him from doing that is Dean. Like, he doesn't have anyone else he can reach out to who might be.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just
maybe
not fair.
he should give Gordon a call and just be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, if I turn evil,
Yeah. I'll pay for your attorney. I don't know.
right, if I turn evil, such and such clause will go into
Mhm.
effect. You'll be freed, and you come kill me, okay?" Um,
It is just such an unfair thing. Especially when we consider where this season is going to go and the place that we are so angry that Dean put Sam into. It is a very unfair thing to ask of your brother. It is just as
yeah,
unfair as John asking Dean to do it. And I
yeah.
get where it comes from, but I hate that it happens.
I hate that it happens too. One thing that redeems it just a smidget is that it's Sam asking it on behalf of himself,
Yeah, yeah,
not not John saying, "Hey,
yeah.
your brother doesn't know this, but he might turn evil and you might
So
have
you
to
should
kill
kill him.
him.
In
By the
terms
way,
of,
I'm
yeah,
gonna leave now and not explain anything else.
bye, I'm dead.
Bye.
Goodbye.
I'm dead."
Well, in terms of like how it's bad for Sam, yes, it's better. But in terms of how it's bad for Dean, it's the same.
It's the same.
It would be
It's
the
the same.
same.
Maybe even worse, actually,
I
honestly.
mean, at least then he knows that he's not doing something horrible to Sam against Sam's will. Like Sam's like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fight you on this. Like, this is fine. If it were down to it and like he had to trick Sam into killing him because dad told him to and Sam has no idea, that would be worst case scenario, like
That would
horrible.
be terrible.
And
That would
Dean
be
could never do
terrible.
it. Like we saw at
No.
Croatoan, like there's no way he would do it. But anyways,
No. He wouldn't.
they need to give
Um,
Sam some water, which that is why he has a hangover in the morning, by the way, because Dean does not give him a glass of water. He just is like, go to sleep.
Dean, you should know better.
Yeah, you've had a
I feel
few.
like you have had hangovers and you have helped your dad through hangovers. You should know
Yeah, get
that
that boy some
Sam
water.
needs water.
But
He
yeah,
is also probably hoping Sam blacks out and does not remember this whole conversation.
oh yeah, he's hoping like the whole rest of the episode, he's like, yeah, he doesn't remember
Haha,
until
doesn't
the end.
remember.
And Sam's like,
Um,
I actually do, and you do have to kill
Actually,
me.
that doesn't change things. Can I just make a there's no point to this comment at all except to bring it up and make sure everyone is aware of it.
Mhm.
The full aesthetic of Sam stretching out on his stomach
Yes, I knew you were
to
going to
go to
talk about
sleep.
it. That is
So,
everyone's favorite. It's like an incredibly important moment on Tumblr where like a million like gift sets have been made of him like flipping over on his tummy and stretching out. And it is
why do we like it so much? Just he's just a long boy.
he's a long boy. There's a lot of reasons people like it, but we're not going to get into a lot of the inappropriate reasons why. We're just going to stick with the he's a long boy and it's very cute. He's
It's
very
aesthetic. It's very
giant
cute.
and he's doing something like a cute little kitten would do. Like a cute little
Yeah,
kitten would do a little stretchy and
he's
go
doing a
sleep.
little stretch and going to sleep because he's a little drunk kitten.
He's a sippy,
Like
sippy little kitty.
he's the tiniest, smallest little tall boy I know.
Tall, tall boy. Yes, exactly. So from
Anyway,
there, we have pukey little Sam in the morning,
ugh,
and they go to collect lore on the house. Like Dean goes and collects like lore on the house from the bag man, and they learn. that grandma upstairs, Rose, has lived there her whole life. And
Mhm.
that eventually, I think we also learned that like her sister died when they were little in the house.
We learn that
Oh, like in the midst of the chaos,
at
we
the
actually do
very
that.
end. Yeah,
You're
we
right.
learn that. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is also the poker with a stick episode.
Yes, this you're not gonna poke her with a stick. I thought it was really weird that Rose doesn't have any lights on. She doesn't have a nurse. Like I get for the aesthetic of the show, but
She's just
like
locked in a closet
she's just
upstairs.
locked in her attic
Yeah.
bedroom,
She has like a
staring at
window.
nothing. She has a
Yeah.
window, but she's had a stroke. She can't get up. She can't take herself to the bathroom. She needs to have a 24-hour nurse. Like she needs home care. But
Yeah. Like,
she doesn't.
because she's
She's
had a stroke. And so the boys are like, well, can we even know if she can use her hands to do the voodoo? And like,
yeah.
what are you going to do? Is poke her with a stick? And Dean's like makes a face. And Sam's like, we're not going to
Oh,
poke her with a stick.
yeah, like to see if she's faking, because
Yeah.
otherwise, how could she even do the hoodoo? This is something that I'm going to get into when we get to the end of the episode.
We're almost there.
I know.
Like
I'm
the
excited.
reveal that Maggie is imaginary is so satisfying. Like they're trying to
Yes.
figure everything out. Like there's all this chaotic stuff keeps happening. And then they're like, "Wait, I thought you had two daughters, Maggie and Tyler." And she's like, "No." Uh
Maggie is Tyler's imaginary friend, and the boys look at each other like, whoop,
they're like, "Holy
found her.
shit." And then like the next scene is the mom telling Tyler to pack and Tyler hasn't, so she gets onto her and says, "Well, Maggie hasn't started packing either." And the mom's like, "Oh my God, you're too old for an imaginary friend. Like get over it and
Mhm.
like move on." And they zoom in on Maggie's face, the ghost girl, and she's like, "I don't like her."
I don't like
Ooh,
her.
it's
And you're like,
creepy.
oh. So, yes. So I love well, here we are. Here in my notes is where we are. So I love the reveal that the grandma is not the bad guy, as she's been set up by the
Right.
narrative to be. That, she's the one doing the hoodoo. She learned it from her nanny. Oh,
Hmm.
but she's had a stroke. How could she be doing it? Well, I don't know, but the pieces are pointing in that direction.
Yeah.
But the reveal that she's not the bad guy, she's actually been protecting the place. And
And
it was
neither
only
was
when
the
she
nanny.
had
The nanny was protecting her.
yes, the nanny was
Hmm.
protecting her and taught her this stuff. And the only reason that things have started to go wrong now is because she had a stroke and cannot do
Yes.
the hoodoo
Can't move
anymore.
anymore.
She
Hmm.
can't move anymore. So this is actually one of like the main principles that I like to keep in mind when I'm writing, which is when you're writing a story that is in a cycle.
Hmm.
It's a story that we know. You have to be telling a story that is different in some way. What makes this story different?
Hmm.
So, in a lot of the stories that I write, it's like, yes, the world has always been like this, and it will continue like this, but this time something's different.
Mm.
And in stories like Supernatural, it's not the this time something's different isn't because this is a story that keeps repeating. It's because these are like urban legends that we know. We know how this story goes. We
Yeah.
know how that urban legend goes. Or we know that this is what's expected because in the universe they say, yeah, but you can always kill a blah 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 by cutting off the tail with a golden knife. Oh, well, something's different. Like maybe it's not something we're familiar with, but the story lets you know that this is the cycle. This is how it's supposed to go. And then this story is different from that. There's something surprising in there. It's such an important um, aspect in storytelling that keeps stories feeling fresh, even when they're about something that feels like
Familiar.
Dean and I both said this
Hmm.
is a good old fashioned ghost story.
Yeah.
And it does end up being a good old fashioned ghost story, but with these surprises and changes about who is and isn't the bad guy that makes it feel fresh and satisfying.
Hmm.
So,
I love that
yes,
observation.
I just that's part of the storytelling of this episode that I love so much.
Yeah, it's great. And that's what is interesting too, is like every single episode has kind of a format where we get the cold open and then we get the boys getting the case and then we get the boys investigating, figuring it out, and then saving the day. And at the end, part of the saving the day is usually they destroy the bad guy, they banish the ghost, they salt and burn the body. They don't do any of that in this.
Mm-mm,
They do not actually solve this case at all they can
mm-mm.
do is move the girls out of like harm's way and just
Right.
be glad they're
And
moving.
right. And they can't even get into the when they find out, oh,
Hmm.
well, how did her sister die? Is she
Hmm.
died in the house? How did she die?
Hmm.
She drowned in the pool. That's a
Hmm.
chilling line. They race to the pool because
Hmm.
now, just like I was saying, in the cyclical story,
Hmm.
that is exactly what's going to happen. Is that
Yep.
this the now the current tense little girl is going
Hmm.
to die in the pool as
Yeah,
well. So
Tyler.
they run to the pool, and it's such a sad,
It's awful.
horrid moment when the little girl is like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
When Tyler says, I'm scared, and Maggie says, I know, but it
It's
won't hurt.
okay. It
I
won't.
promise.
Yeah, she's like, it'll be over soon. Like, she's literally just like, I
Because it
need
happened
you.
to her.
It did.
So
She's like,
she
I
is
need you
like,
to be here with me. I'm lonely. I need you
I'm
to
lonely.
stay. Because
It
that was
won't
the
hurt, I
whole thing
promise.
is they were gonna
Just,
move out. And so
yes.
the ghost is trying to keep her from leaving.
Yep.
Um, and of course you find out Maggie, I think I already said this, but Maggie was Rose's little sister.
Rose's
So
little sister. Yeah. No,
grandma,
big sister. Big sister.
big sister. Damn. Yeah,
Yep.
it's hard to remember that because she's a little girl. But yeah, she was
Because she's
older
a
than
little
Maggie
girl and Rose is like an
or
old
Rose.
old lady.
Yeah, she's an
And
older
I
lady.
wrote the glass on these doors is so strong because Sam is like trying to break the glass, but
Yeah.
they're trying to get downstairs, and you can see when Dean kicks in the
Mm-hmm.
door that it bends open and then
Mm-hmm.
slams closed again a bit. And I think I just realized during this watch through that it's the ghost that's keeping them from getting in.
Oh yeah.
Because as soon as she disappears, the glass breaks, the door opens.
Mm-hmm.
Sam jumps in. By the way, covers like that on pools,
Mm-hmm.
so dangerous
Oh my
because
God.
once you get enveloped in one of those, it is
You're
so hard.
trapped. Yeah.
You're trapped. It's so hard to get back out. So I hope that they had lots and lots of
Mhm.
safety on set when they were recording
Yeah.
that because I was so
I'm
scared for that
sure they
little girl.
did. Um,
Um,
I will say this that at the end of the day, like Rose was the hero.
Rose was the hero.
She called Maggie away from her granddaughter and like essentially distracted Maggie from what she was doing, which was drowning Tyler. And you're right, when she disappeared is when they were able to get in. They got in at the same time. Actually, Sam got in a little earlier.
Sam got in a little
And
earlier,
he
jumped into the pool.
saves the little girl and they all rush together and thankfully Tyler is able to cough up the water and she's fine.
Yeah, that was a very tense moment. And of
Well,
course, that's
it's
another
a huge nightmare for mothers. I know that.
yeah, it's
It's
a nightmare. I wrote I have one line about that scene. It says, "Wet Sam,
mhm.
terrifying moment. As a mother, nothing else."
As a mother can't even
I
discuss
didn't
it.
can't even finish the sentence. But yeah,
Hmm.
that I think that image of Sam like straining out of the water
Yeah,
is also sort of an iconic
it is. You're right.
image in the Sam
It,
fan
fandom, yeah.
fandom.
Well, it's such a wonderful moment, and there's a moment you wait and you see is this baby gonna wake up, and so she does, and she's okay. And what happens is that Rose offered to go ahead and pass away and join her sister Maggie, and she was like, I'll take me instead." And so Rose kind of sacrifices herself. She's a grandma. She's like, I'll stay here with
I'll
you.
stay with you.
Hmm.
And they do this like final fly through of the house. The sisters are reunited again. Rose is young again.
Yeah.
She looks really happy.
Yeah.
I was worried that when we saw her again, she was gonna look like she was um like um
A
like
vengeful spirit, because that's what
or
she
like
had been.
a prisoner or
Mm,
like a captive of sorts of her older sister
mm,
who basically coerced her into giving up her life.
yeah.
But they both seem happy to be reunited.
Yeah, it pans through
So,
the house, kind of.
yeah.
It's very cool. And you get to see the sister ghosts kind of playing together, and that it's now like an old school haunted house with like giggling children, like
Yeah.
ghosts.
So, do we think the sale still went through, even though the person who got the signature fell down the stairs and died? Is this
I
house going to
don't
be torn down?
know. Well,
Are
because
they going
then
to disturb the bones and this is going to start all over again?
yeah, that's I would love for them to revisit. That would be kind of
I
funny,
would
but
love
like
that. That
or
would be
like a
pretty great.
cool like maybe in a few seasons, like a return like supernatural fic. They return to this place and like it's now being
Yeah.
haunted by both, and they're pissed off because it's now like a I don't know like a tanning booth or something.
Tanning.
Yeah, like a yeah, it's like
Oh
a
no.
and people
Oh,
keep
this
getting
if anybody
fried or
writes
something.
that, if anybody writes that, please tag us.
Oh my God, please, that would be so funny.
I need to we'll maybe we'll feed it.
I know. Well, my final thoughts on this is that the mom hugs Sam, like she's saying thank you to the boys, but then she grabs Sam and she hugs him, and it's what he deserves. And I know that Dean saved her, but like the intimacy of being the person that saved a mother's child, like there's gonna be a mo that she's going to feel so much more connected, I think
Yes.
to a
Yeah.
person who you rescued my baby. Like you gave she says to them, you guys gave me everything
Yes.
because she could have lost Tyler. And I think she might have even forgotten that she almost died because it would have been so much worse for her to lose her child.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. As a mother, yeah,
Mhm.
so there are cases where I think if that bad thing happened to my son, I don't care what happens to me.
Right. Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. What am I going to start my life over? Because
Mhm.
that's yeah.
Yeah, I did. I definitely get it.
Um,
Final thoughts?
I do have some final thoughts. Oh, I wanted to talk about the Sammy loves dolls thing a little bit. Because it's
Okay.
such a fun like brothers ribbing, but also trying to get some information. He is so reluctant to do it, but he picks up on it. Like
Hmm.
when he senses an opening when he sees that the doll in the house has the head has been turned backwards. He's like, how did this um like, oh, how did this happen? Finding out that they're Rose's toys, and oh, I'd love to talk with Grandma Rose
Hmm.
about her doll collection. Like seeing that as an entry point to getting to talk to Grandma Rose, like he like fully goes into that. But I kind of like I got this feeling that maybe like a more modern take on this, if the show is made like now, like maybe wouldn't relax back into like masculinity jokes and would instead like take that poke that Dean made at Sam with the he's really into dolls and turn it into Sam going like full on, okay, that's the situation. Great. um I'm gonna make up some doll facts and like just like doing some techno babble and being like, yeah, well, I wonder how many of these dolls were made using the ball and joint injection technique developed in 1924. How old did you say these dolls might be? Like in an effort to like get some history on them or something.
That would be
Like
brilliant.
I would have loved to have seen him just be like, Dean, well, I guess I'm in it now and like just like go off on because I mean, he is such a he's a nerd in other ways that
Hmm.
he could come up with realistic sounding
Yeah.
mumbo jumbo, and I'm sure they have to do that all the time, and I just love when they do that.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to see something like that. But
That's
you know,
brilliant. I love that.
they're always you always have to prioritize when you're writing a scene. Like, are you gonna prioritize humor right now? Are you gonna prioritize balance? Are you gonna so
Yeah. Exposition.
they might have prioritized humor to
Hmm.
balance out Sam doing the overcompensating
Yeah.
joke earlier or
Yeah.
whatever. But I just I just had this like vision of Sam just going off on pretend doll facts like he knows something and just have them all be like utterly wrong. I know nothing about dolls myself, so like I just wanted
What
to
do
see him
you mean?
naked some shit.
That's funny. You're not a doll scholar?
I'm
Oh, weird.
not,
That's so
weirdly.
strange of you.
So weird. So weird. Um, I do know that ball joint
You
dolls
pulled
are a
that
thing.
out of nowhere. I was like, dang, she knows something. She
I
knows
made that
something.
up. Only because there's like this really fancy kind of doll
Hmm.
that you can like make with like really fancy like makeup. People put tons and tons and tons of money into these things, and
Goodness.
they have like really intricate joints
Oh my God, that's
that you
creepy
can
to me.
pose.
No, I don't
I'm
like
gonna send
that.
I'm gonna send you a link just so you have to witness it.
Oh, well, now we have to put it in the show notes because you said that. So
Okay, I'll find a
I'm
link.
very upset about this. Cool. All right, shall we rate it? Shall we rate the episode?
Yes, let's do.
All right, so we've got again our wardrobe descriptors: horrendous, adorable, genuinely good, or terrible but great. Elle, kick us off. What do you think of our boys and what they wore?
Genuinely good.
I agree.
That denim
Mm-hmm.
pearl snap
Mm-hmm. And
and
that linen, like the t-shirt, the long sleeve t-shirts. I love that on both the boys.
me too. Me too.
Mm-hmm.
It feels comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they're
Soft.
comfortable.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
relaxed when I see them like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
That was
Yep.
that was easy. All right. So
That was
Sam,
easy.
our Sam fan friendly scale on a scale
Mhm.
from 1 to 5. Let's start with screen time. What did you think of the screen time for our boy?
I think the screen time was really good
Mm-hmm.
for him in this one. Um, he he gets to save the day,
Mm-hmm.
kind of. Um, well, in that that girl would have still drowned if somebody hadn't lifted her up out of the water. She
Yeah,
was already unconscious.
he
Yeah.
saved her for sure.
Um, and being a champ about the dolls and putting some of the stuff together. And a thing I didn't mention, he took one look at Rose and was like, Dean, this woman has had a stroke.
Right.
Like he was just like, I don't need to have a medical degree to tell you that this woman has had a stroke. Like he just knew.
Yeah,
Um, I am gonna give him, and he's so pretty.
I know.
I'm gonna
This
give him
is
like a 4.9 for screen
okay.
time.
That's why we have to have multiple little like sub uh categories because there's so many reasons to enjoy or not enjoy something. All right, so I gave it 4.8, kind of the same reasons. Like it was just really good screen time. It was important screen time and it bumped up from like a 4.6 because of the drunk Sam moment because we never get to see him being that silly and that honest, like, and that vulnerable. Like he is very vulnerable often, but like that was out of his control. Like he literally
Mhm.
was showing us things that, he couldn't help but show us. So I really love that moment. All right, how did you enjoy it, Elle?
I enjoyed it a lot. Um, for the reasons that I said before,
Mm-hmm.
but also for some of the things that you just mentioned, the vulnerability that we get from him. We
Mm-hmm.
get ideas about what he's really thinking, but has been holding back, maybe even from himself.
Yeah.
But then we also get the moment in the very end where he's like, okay, everything's back to normal. And Dean is going along like, whew, glad that's done. And then Sam turns and just bam, he lets us know he remembers every word of last night's talk and says, you promised. And you're
Mm-hmm.
just like,
No.
oh, so it was vulnerable and it was maybe stuff he didn't realize he thought about himself.
Mm-hmm.
But he remembers it all and he's not denying any
And he
of it.
meant it, yeah.
He meant it. So, yeah. What was the scale? Enjoyment.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. So I'm gonna give it a 4.8.
Okay. I gave it a 4.6 because I enjoyed it. It was great and it was really high. This is really high. But I put it lower for enjoyment just because I hate that. I hate that he asked Dean to do that. And so when my feelings get hurt, my enjoyment always suffers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I mean, I think it's ethically incorrect to do to your brother, but like I get it, but it hurt my feelings.
It hurt your
It hurt my
feelings.
feelings. And our final category, hard eyes.
Um, he looks really good.
Yeah, he does. And he's
He
so
looks really,
heroic.
he's so heroic. He saves a girl from the pool. Like that's
Mhm.
just the
And he does
image.
the kitty stretch, the little
The
kitty stretch.
kitty stretch. There's so many iconic, like,
Hmm.
love me some Sam Winchester moments
Hmm.
in this. That I'm gonna do. Oh, and every single drunk Sam scene.
Yeah.
His no, I mean, he's so squishy and he's
Yeah,
so
so
earnest.
so funny.
So I
It's
love
so
it
funny.
so much.
I know, I love it.
I'm gonna give it a 4.8, 9,
No, okay.
9.
Okay. I gave it a 4.8 also. Loved it. So precious. All of the kitty cat stretch, especially. I almost bumped it up because we named it that. That makes it even cuter.
It makes it so cute. Did we coin that just now?
The kitty cat stretch, yes.
The
I'm gonna
kitty
say
cat
that we
stretch.
did.
Sweet.
So we have rated this. Mine's a 4.73, yours is a 4.86, which is kind of hilarious because we just inverted from the first one. We have two incredibly high rated episodes. The first one average is 4.8, this one's 4.7. You almost can't get closer, yeah, mathematically to being a perfect score for season two. Season two is just a bunch of heavy hitters are also good.
There's like, is there any skippable episode in season 2? I'm not sure there is.
I don't think so. We haven't hit one yet.
Nope.
Elle, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you on the next one.
Yes. All right.
Bye.
Bye.